Well, surprise, surprise. Episode number 54 of the Dragon's Den podcast is live and on the air this weekend. Didn't think we were going to have a podcast this weekend, but situations arose, things occurred, and I wasn't able to go out of town like I was hoping for this weekend after all. So here we are live, and we will not be having a show next week like we originally planned, but we are going to be having a show tonight. So welcome, everybody, to episode number 54. I'm joined tonight by Sir Spoopington III, Mr. Get Some there on the bottom, and Miranda Nicole 84 on the top right there. No Matthew tonight, doesn't sound like, unless he decides to jump in. And of course, maybe we'll see Aaron. I don't know. I haven't talked to him.
No, it's his birthday. You ain't seen Aaron.
It is his birthday.
Happy
birthday, Aaron.
Happy birthday, Aaron. So yeah, happy birthday to the Faceless Dragon here on the channel as well. So well-deserved night off for both those two guys, I'm sure. But like I said, this was kind of an impromptu podcast this week anyway. So we're just happy to have one here for you guys. But we got some stuff to talk about. We got some pro wrestling stuff. We got a little bit of movie news. We got some sports. And we got big news in the world of politics, which kind of took all over the viral internet world out there this week. We'll get into that as well. Mike said in the chat already, he goes, damn, has it been 3 weeks already? No. Sometimes time flies, but not this case. So kind of nice to not have to do the 3 weeks off after all. But there are going to be a couple weeks probably coming up in July. That may be the case. But as of right now, good to be back here tonight as well. How you guys doing? I haven't talked to you guys in about a week. So what's up?
Not bad. A little tired, but I'm good.
Yeah, hanging in there on that late shift.
Yeah.
I've been hearing it might not be lasting much longer, though. I don't know. I haven't heard. I don't know if you want to talk about on.
Jamie wants his way, then I guess not. But we'll see.
Really? Well, I guess time will tell on that one. I'm just all I hear is rumors, so I don't know anything. But they moved me around this week too. I'm no longer where I was. I'm kind of back to doing the old scanning thing. No longer with the VSUs. I'm kind of on my own table again with the tables. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, that's fine. I mean, I don't really care as long as I'm scanning. That's kind of nice.
I guess.
Boring work talk for those of you who don't know us. But anyway, but yeah, I mean,
I'm so glad I don't work there no more.
I bet, no doubt about it.
Hold on. I just want to say this. I got a text from somebody said, please come back. It ran right when you were here.
I'm sure there's a lot of that sentiment going around. Right? Yep. Yeah, I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to say no, but I just
Actually, I told him, hell no.
Fair enough. But yeah, I mean that's kind of what we've been dealing with in our personal lives there at our job. So yeah, or at least me and Brandon. Yeah, good times. Yeah, absolutely good times. I wouldn't have it. It's like paradise, man. What are you talking about? It's awesome.
I know, right? Like,
yeah. Like,
so, well, I had a day from hell, honestly.
Really? What's been up?
I had to pick Brandon up from work this morning. You know, Aaron took the night off. It was his birthday. Cool. That wasn't a problem. I decided to take the dogs with me and Anaya.
Oh no.
Well, it was okay. Both. Yeah. Loki's not a car rider. I don't know. He's weird. But I got a call from Anaya's phone. Anaya's with me. It's Jackson in tears. He doesn't know where the dogs are.
Oh no, he thought they ran off. Oh, yeah. Poor guy.
But the reason being probably is because the night before, I'm at work. Brandon calls me, tells me they just had to chase the rabbit around the yard.
God.
Because apparently when I fed them the night before, I left the door open.
Oh no.
So Jackson's probably thinking this morning, I left the door open and now the dogs are gone.
They're just gone. Oh, poor guy. Well, hopefully his nerves were eased there when you told him they're with us. No worries.
Yeah, they were a little bit.
Oh my goodness. Poor Loki's not a car rider, huh?
No.
I wouldn't think he would be. No.
He doesn't sit still. He won't lay down.
But I'll tell you what, though. If we would have went and got ice cream or a cheeseburger, he would have associated food with that car every freaking time, and he would have been making us take it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You'd be getting a pup cup every time you go to the vet.
Yeah.
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 And nope.
No. Yeah, if we would have gotten anything for him, he would have been like, so if I get in here, then I get something. So he'd expect it every time. So anytime when we would go to leave, he would rush to the door like, hey, we're going to do the thing. So I get the thing. Yeah, no.
He spends almost every hour he's awake going in and out of the door just so he can get a treat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he'll go to the door. You'll let him out, and he won't go to the bathroom. He'll just go to the porch, wait for you to leave, turn around, knock on the door, so you let him in to get a treat.
Oh, he's found out the loophole, huh?
Sometimes he'll be there and he'll just sit down. He won't even try to go.
Yeah,
He's
he
like,
won't
no,
even try to leave.
He'll
Just look at you.
Oh wow, that's crazy town right there.
He's so spoiled.
So sounds smart too. To be honest with you, you know.
He's too smart for his own damn good.
That's for sure. No doubt about it. Mike said in the chat, he was saying, so I don't spoil anything. Is anyone watching or have they been watching Money in the Bank? I've not been watching
one match so far.
Do you care if he ruins it or not?
Yeah, because I'm gonna watch it after this.
Okay, well, no spoilers then. I didn't necessarily care if you ruined it for me, but if Brandon don't want to, don't do that then. But yeah, we'll get to it. So I've actually not even watched Raw or SmackDown this week. I'm behind on wrestling. There's just so much. Yeah, and AEW had a 4-hour show Wednesday, which I've still not watched.
Absurd.
So yeah, there's just so much to keep up with right now. I'm hoping tomorrow I might get some caught up done, but we'll have to wait and see. And Mike also said, I'm glad my department doesn't have much going on. Overtime only if we want it and mostly laid back. Not us. So we got mandatory. So that's gonna be fun. So yeah.
Wait, so you do have mandatory overtime?
Apparently
I do. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how that falls on my shoulders.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's usually due to things out of our control, but we usually
but I don't understand how I have
the
job that I do serves no purpose in the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
but, yeah. Gotta love it. No doubt about it. Mike said also, my mother-in-law's little Taco Bell dog once chased a rabbit around her backyard. For what I was told, it took a bit to get rabbit parts out of her fence.
Wow.
Ooh, brother.
Oh.
Wasn't fast enough, huh?
We didn't. So we didn't have that issue. But this little motherfucker, here's the thing. He must have been out all night. Okay. He didn't venture off far, which is, I guess, a good thing because.
Disclaimer, I let him run loose in the basement one night too over the winter because we brought him inside and had their cage down here while I left the fucking door open. And when I come back down the next day, he was just sitting by his cage. I was like, you didn't even eat because he couldn't get back in his cage. So he was out hungry all night. But at least he had grass this time.
Yeah. But his cage door was open, so he could have got back inside. He chose not to. Whatever. Thing is, we have predators around here.
Yeah.
There's foxes, there's raccoons for sure. There's an owl and there's a hawk that lives in the back.
Dude, I've seen deer out there.
There's
at night when we were camping out there, I heard all sorts of noises.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where all they came from. But
around out here too. So the thing is, he survived the whole night. You would think that you would want to go back into your home. He ran from one side of the yard. He never left that far from the porch. What ended up happening was he ended up running all the way around into the front porch where I took a table and basically blocked off so he couldn't leave the porch. Then when it got the other cage that we transport him in, and I basically left him with no choice but to run into this thing.
I'm more impressed in Mike's story about how the little Taco Bell dog chase. So the Taco Bell dog is about the size of a rabbit. It's like talk about high goals and aspirations.
Hey, listen, this rabbit we got is fat. This is a fat rabbit.
All I'll say is this too: whenever we go, if I go camping at your cousin's backyard again, I might bring my 40 just in case. There was some weird stuff coming out of that woods back there. I'm just saying. I was like,
our neighbors are pretty weird too. I don't.
Yeah, that's cool.
Don't worry, I won't bring the AR, but the little gun. I'm just saying. Anyway, Mike said that he's seen about half of Money in the Bank, but I don't know who won, or I do know who won both ladder matches. Main event's about to start. I know who won the women's.
Yeah,
I did too. Yeah.
Okay, so we can at least talk about Naomi winning the women's Money in the Bank then. So that's good to see. That is something I think is long overdue, as Triple H put it on his X account for sure about that. So happy to see that. Hopefully they'll do something with her.
I was actually pretty like when she won, I was like,
is Rhea okay? Did she survive?
Did she have a fall? Did she,
brother?
Poor girl. Oh man!
Like there goes her face again, bouncing off the fucking ladder.
Oh Lord. Oh, poor thing. Well, at least it's not the first time she's wrestled in a face mask. But yeah, we're definitely going to get into some pro wrestling. So you guys want to just go ahead and start doing that?
Sure.
Get into a little bit of talk. All right, let's rock and roll. Let's get started here. If I can find, there we go. Nothing like a good 2-3 second delay when you hit the intro. So yeah, technical difficulties. What do you want? All right, so in pro wrestling, not so much in regards to the storylines this week because, like I said, I'm a little behind. But at the same time, there is some things going on. Number one, Slim Jim has apparently bought rights to use their logo and stuff in the center of the ring and apparently on WWE folding chairs that they pull out from underneath the ring. So if you break a table now, are you snapping into a Slim Jim?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, kind of.
Well, they better put some real ingredients in their fucking food.
They're meat sticks that are full of grease.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, processed meat. But so this has kind of led a lot of people to wonder about the amount of ads that are being placed in WWE right now. Obviously, they've been putting the ads along the ring mats, which I'm not a big, I don't have a problem with that necessarily because UFC does that all the time. Tico owns UFC, so I got no problem with it. But now you're adding it to like props, like the folding chairs, and obviously the big shows like SummerSlam, maybe even the Night of Money in the Bank and WrestleMania. You get all these ads and stuff throughout the show, and part of that I understand. But at some point, when is this going to become a little too much? Is the question, I guess, right now.
It kind of feels like
what's the
taking a
difference?
piss out of it. You know what I mean?
But what's the difference? You have race car drivers with shit all over them. Like, well, if people are going to pay for advertising, companies are going to take it.
Well, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletters, he actually stated, I expect ads on the ring gear soon worn by the wrestlers, much like NASCAR drivers. If that is the route we're going with here,
I keep look, you laugh if you want to, but that's the truth. Like football players do it.
What about the cereal and stuff? Like,
hell, there's some prize fighters like UFC. It's not really UFC, but it's still cage fighting. Like literally, that's what it is. Before they go out there, they're marked with all kind of advertising and shit. It's weird.
Well, hell, Brock Lesnar used to wear his UFC trunks in WWE. Even had like what was it? That Subway shop. I can't remember the name of it. Jersey Mike's or something on there. You know, whatever.
Hell, the only reason why because if you think about all the endorsement deals that NFL players have. If it's not signed off by the NFL, you can't wear it, but they still find ways to do so.
Right.
Like it's
they don't always wear it on the field. But that's kind of where we're a little difference there. But like, occasionally you might get a patch or something here and there.
It is. I get what you're saying though. Like, but it is
that this is the part of the business of it. And I'm going to lead this into a bigger conversation into why this is all happening. But could we see things kind of like, like, everybody like, ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it. That's for
ridiculous.
Sure Miss Morgan. And could we be getting the dude wipes for Roman Reigns maybe coming out? There's a lot
of,
if he did
if you're paying for streaming services, you're not seeing commercials anymore.
Yeah.
Well, for now, they're saying like streaming services are going to start putting in ads you can't pay to get out of. Even
see, that's what I'm
saying.
saying.
Oh, well, that's stupid.
Yeah,
it's
like
no matter what, and it's because of this is the time we're in right now. We went through it once before with cable.
And they better lower their prices.
It was commercials all the time and stuff like that. But in those commercials, or when you had cable, that was the only way you had to do. That's why you bought pay-per-views, so you didn't get shit like that. But in return, you still got advertisement because it was all over the fucking place. So like, this is the world we're in right now. I don't know how to rectify this because let's be honest, if the revenue comes in from said situation, you don't think those same advertisers that advertise for AEW, just like they advertise for WWE, aren't going to do the same thing? Like, this isn't this is going to be everywhere. Like it's
I mean, who's to say AEW don't start doing it too? We don't know. I mean, AEW used to have advertisements on their ring mats more. They don't really do that as much anymore, but that's not to say they won't go back to it or whatever if they get the right, new deal or whatnot. So yeah, this may just be an evolution of the pro wrestling business at this point. It might be, but I kind of want to lead this into a discussion of maybe why WWE is doing this as of right now. Mike also, to kind of add to this conversation in the chat, said they also officially announced WrestleMania is returning for Las Vegas next year on the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. So we kind of talked about that already, thinking that was going to happen. So that is now official. And the reason that was going to happen is due to the fact that they're bidding way more than any other city right now to have it return to the city. So that means, it's bringing in the most money. So it makes the most sense business-wise. To kind of piggyback off that, and before we get into that even further, R-Truth and Carlito were also released by the company this week. And a lot of that has to do with the fact it sounds like they're trying to cut costs. And R-Truth in particular, it sounds like they knew that since the beginning of the year. They were going to cut costs. They gave him another big main event run with John Cena there to kind of end up John Cena as his mentor storyline going into Saturday Night's main event last weekend or whatnot. But then Carlito, obviously, which I think he's done an excellent job with the Judgment Day. For the most part, he's playing his video game in the back in the clubhouse a little bit. And I was kind of sad to see them in the back in the clubhouse this week with him in the PlayStation 5 no longer with them. But at the same time, I mean, these do make some sense. This does suck, though, because fans don't want to see neither one of these two guys go, especially
at the same time. You guys weren't cheering for R-Truth when he was there before. Everybody hated the 24/7.
Yeah, it's like now they all appreciate him, and now they're going to miss him. I understand, but I mean, I'm going to miss him a little bit.
Oh, yeah, don't be wrong. It's not like I'm not going to miss the dude. Like, he was entertaining television. Like,
right. Now, apparently, this call, even though there were plenty of cost cuts going around, the call for Carlito and R-Truth to be released came from Triple H himself, according to reports. They're looking at the numbers, according to Dave Meltzer. He said they're looking at how many people they have to cut and how much money they have to cut. And those were the picks. Those were the Paul Levesque picks, and that's just what it is. But there's going to be other cuts, I'm sure, no doubt about it. Not all in regards to Triple H. It's got a lot of people wondering if TKO wants to kind of get WWE to be a little bit more serious, maybe more along the sports line of things, kind of like AEW is doing with their sports presentation. Maybe, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. But I think taking comedy out of pro wrestling altogether is not a good thing. I don't think that's necessarily a plan. But this also obviously led to a lot of stars not being super happy and expressing their support for R-Truth, especially via their social media accounts. And even Dirty Dom wore a Carlito shirt on television this week that stated, "That's not cool." So I don't know if there was some sort of statement being done there, but it was probably just to show his support for his Judgment Day member, no doubt about it. And there's also reports going around that apparently TKO, in their slashing cuts efforts, are even looking to negotiate with Roman Reigns to negotiate his contract and possibly renegotiate that to give him a major pay cut. I think he's making around $15 million a year right now, and they view him as a part-time wrestler at the moment, so maybe he's not worth that amount of money right now. I don't know if this is going to end up happening, but it is definitely something that kind of adds to this overall narrative of them cutting costs. So we'll have to wait and see how the Roman Reigns thing ends up happening. And I don't see him leaving the company or anything like that. I really don't. But again, if you're just going to be saving money, that's what you got to do, I suppose. But why is TKO doing all this stuff? The ads and the cost cutting and everything. It's because apparently TKO, the parent company of UFC and the WWE, are currently $3.07 billion in debt. A lot of this debt has been accrued by the UFC, but of course the merger with WWE as well as playing a factor in it. And I believe by 2026, in 3 years, well, at the time of the acquisition and everything, in 3 years' time from WWE, they have to have a lot of this debt paid off. So they're coming up on the gun of this, if that's the case. So that could maybe explain why we're getting all these ads and all these cuts and things like that. We've also got reports apparently of Jonathan Coachman, I guess on his podcast, said that they predicted in 18 months that Triple H will not be running WWE anymore. And he says he, quote, actually feels kind of bad for him because I've always really liked him. I don't know if that was kind of a subtle dig there or if he's being genuine. But either way, Triple H, we'll have to wait and see if that ends up being a move TKO also makes. We know The Rock is on the board of directors, and his man, Brian Gewirtz, has also been with WWE for a long, long time as a writer from way back in the day. So they would be the main head creatives over there if Triple H is removed from the company as creative. I don't know if that's going to be a thing, but we've talked in the past about how WWE may have kind of like a power structure struggle going on backstage a little bit, especially when it came to WrestleMania and The Rock and Triple H's creative plans. So there may be some fire to the smoke, as it were. But we'll have to wait and see if Triple H is also removed from creative power at some point. Fans are sometimes complaining as of late that some of the storylines have not been the greatest. But on top of compiling all this together, we've also got reports, apparently the last couple of weeks of Raw on Netflix saw their lowest ratings ever in the Netflix era, reaching only 2.6 to 2.7 million viewers. And with them no longer being on cable, that's not good. This is worldwide. This is not just in the United States. So that's kind of alarming to see in that regard. While AEW themselves have been steadily increasing their viewership. They hover around 650, 670 on TBS, but then you combine that with the Max streaming services, they're around 1.2 million every single week now. So there is a slight possibility. I'd have to see the US numbers alone, but Max and TBS for AEW, they very well may be having a larger rating in the United States alone than Raw does in the United States alone. I'd like to see the numbers there, but it's a very good possibility at this point. So I guess I say all this to say, should we be concerned for the WWE? And obviously, WWE is making money hand over fist right now. Obviously, there's no doubt about that.
No, you shouldn't be concerned. Not
about TKO. That's what I'm saying.
TKO is probably an issue.
That's what I'm saying. Not
sure.
WWE themselves.
No,
TKO's ownership of them. Yeah.
TKO seems to be an issue, but like they sold like it's. I will say the product has like its moments. You could tell who's in the kitchen and who's not in the kitchen.
Right.
And it's like, I don't understand. I mean, egos. That's the best way to put it. Egos. But at the same time, I don't get the self-sabotage of your business because you think it's like when Russo and Bischoff were on WCW. You could tell when Russo booked the show because you could fucking tell. Just from the dialogue alone, you could tell. But then you could also tell when he wasn't booking shows. This instance, you can tell when Triple H books a show. You can tell how smooth shit is, how certain things run, whatever. And then you can tell when he's not booking a show. I want to know who's doing that. And when that happens, tell them to stop.
Just playing devil's advocate here. I don't disagree with you. But what if when it's not going so smooth, what if it is still Triple H? I'm not sure. I'm just begging a question.
I don't know how that could be. Because this isn't a small sample size anymore. Like we saw, you know what I mean? Like everybody had a direction. Everything kind of flowed together. And there are times now where it's like, well, this makes no fucking sense, but here we are. But then it's not
nearly as bad as it was under Vince.
Yes.
there were things that were just dropped and
it'll go for a week or so, but then you'll see some weird course correction to where you're like, oh, okay, all right, we're back on track here. And then I don't know.
And that happens in AEW too. Like sometimes you get a wrestler that gets injured. Well, they can't perform this week, so you got to adjust it. I mean, when you got to adjust on a fly like that, things end up going that way.
Yeah. Aside from that part of it, though, like aside from like, oh, this is an injury or some shit. No, I mean, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I feel like.
Happy birthday, brother.
Yeah, happy birthday, brother.
Hi, Aaron. Happy birthday.
Hi, thank you.
I feel like in the beginning, the TKO thing was a good idea, but I think there's too many chefs in the kitchen. Everybody has a fucking opinion. It's like when USA wanted certain people and only certain people pushed and on their television, you know what I mean? On their programming.
Right.
I thought the TKO thing would loosen it up to where you could have what we got in the beginning. And then now, I don't know. It's like,
it feels like a lot of corporate hands are involved a little bit, or starting to become that way.
And I hate that.
You know? Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe it can be still successful that way, but you see all these ads and, which the ads in the main, like WrestleMania, we talked about how there was like maybe 2 hours of actual wrestling and entertainment in ring. And then like the other 4 hours were ads. It's like, give me a break. That sort of stuff is a little overwhelming, but, it's just going to be interesting to see how all this ends up playing out. But it is interesting and important to note as well that right now WWE is kind of in their lull summer months, with Money in the Bank kind of starts to kick up a little more heading into SummerSlam in August. But there are a few months after WrestleMania there, it kind of dies down a bit, coming off that high of WrestleMania. And AEW right now is starting their trajectory toward their WrestleMania event of the year and All In. So there's a little bit of a difference when it comes to where they're at in the product right now. So that could be part of the reason for the decline in WWE at the moment, and AEW's kind of upward trajectory. So we'll have to wait and see. But hopefully, I just want to see all companies succeed. I really do at the end of the day. And hopefully that is going to end up being the case. So, Mike said in the comments, stealing a bit from Major League 2, they need Trojan condom sponsors, a weekly thing called the My Bad Boner of the Week and dedicated to R-Truth.
That's crazy.
Well, they used to have like the Slam of the Week type thing.
Yeah,
Slam
of the Week,
way back in the day. They don't. I don't know if they do that much anymore, but definitely a thing that they could end up doing for sure at some time again soon. But I don't know. But yeah, definitely looking to see a lot more ads. I'm not sure. I'm looking forward to it. But if it's on the ring mat, the tables are starting to get a little crazy. But if it gets on the ring gear, I'm really going to be like, okay. But I guess I got to understand why, and I do, but it's just kind of strange. On the AEW side of things, like I said, I didn't get a chance to watch the big 4-hour event just yet, but we do know for a matter of a fact that Okada Omega 5 will officially take place at All In Texas on July 12th, that you all are invited to my place to watch, by the way. And it will be a winner-takes-all match, the Continental Championship versus the International Champion. So as we predicted, the International title and Continental Championship looks to be being unified at this show. And I think that's probably a good decision, all things considered. And if these two guys can deliver like they have with the 4 matches they've done in the past, we're all in for a treat. Because these guys are up there. Big if.
They're both up there. They're not what they used to be back in Wrestle Kingdom 11. Like,
right.
When we seen them at Wrestle Kingdom 11, that was what? Match 2 of the 5 series that they ended up having?
Something like that. This would be the first one, I believe, in AEW, though.
Yeah.
So that'll be kind of cool to see. So those fans, like especially in the States, who maybe have never seen these two guys wrestle, it'll be their first opportunity to see such thing. And if they could deliver half what they did in like New Japan, this is going to be a show stealer, no doubt about it. So looking forward to this. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Otherwise,
that was yeah. Omega's the reason why I started watching New Japan. And then that's how I found out AJ Styles was there. That's how I found Finn Balor, Young Bucks, the Machine Gun Kelly. Ah!
no. Try again.
Machine Gun Anderson and Gallows, hell, my love for Tanahashi and Shibata and all those guys. Like, if they could do what they did at Wrestle Kingdom, hands down, it should be the best match on the fucking card. But
yeah,
it's a tall order.
Well, and I know they've got
with Kenny's injury, like that isn't something like.
To be fair though, since he's come back, he's looked just fine. So I'm hoping that'll end up being okay. And Okada, a little bit of blooms off the rose with him a little bit at times. I think his aura's starting to return a little bit though. The last few months or so with Okada on AEW television. Obviously, it's not what it once was in New Japan, but hopefully maybe they can kind of bottle up some of that magic and bring us another big classic here for sure. But you add that to Mercedes Moné and Timeless Tony Storm, and as well as Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page for the world title. And there's even rumor, I think they actually scheduled a match this coming week on Dynamite for Swerve versus Ospreay, but that match still could get added to All In as well. And if that's the case, that'll be 4 big matches on that show already. So I have to fill out the undercard a bit, but yeah, it's shaping up. So I'm looking forward to it. Any requests when it comes to food for that big get together? I don't know if I want to do pizza or chili or what. Yeah. So whatever. Gotta watch it on my 86-inch screen. I'm ready to watch it. It's awesome.
It's Saturday, right?
Yeah, it'll be Saturday, July 12th. It's still about a month out. So, but so we got some time to prepare for it. But yeah, looking forward to it. So hopefully that was good. Also, last but not least in pro wrestling, apparently Ric Flair has announced that he has got skin cancer the second time in 3 years. So hopefully everything will go well there. He's set to go into treatment next week. So yeah, our thoughts and well wishes go out to the Nature Boy, the greatest of all time.
He should try. Just saying, he should try some ivermectin mixed with probably castor oil.
There you go. So if you're listening to Rick, by all means, do so. And I didn't have a picture pulled up here, but I know Jim Ross was also undergoing treatment for colon cancer, and I believe his surgery went well. So that's
I've seen that too.
Let's hope he can kick out at 2, and things will go well there as well. So good to hear on all fronts. Hopefully Rick will be all right after this week as well. So any other thoughts on pro wrestling? I don't think we got any more news out of Money in the Bank just yet, but that's okay. We don't want to get ruined on a lot of it anyway. So, and I'm sure Aaron's like, nah, I'm not the big wrestling guy.
I want to watch it later anyway. So.
Yeah, I do too. And hopefully, I don't know when I'm going to get caught up. That's the problem. Like, I always get caught up, and then I'm like, all right, if I just stay caught up, I'm good. But then, like, I get home from work, I get tired. I don't want to sit through a 2.5 hour Raw, and I get behind there, and then Wednesday rolls around. You know how it goes. So it's just crazy. I mean, I'm glad it's out there. I really am. I'm glad it's available, and there's plenty of it to watch. But just don't always have the time. It's crazy. Gotta love it, man.
I had one show that I really wanted to watch and keep up with, and I've watched, 2 episodes?
Yeah.
What show's that?
Poker Face.
Okay.
It's a good fucking show. Like, legit. Like,
I don't know much about it.
So,
yeah?
Dude, like...
She's a bullshit detector. And, like, she can tell when somebody's lying to her. And
I want to say you might have mentioned it. Yeah.
Yeah. I waited forever for season 2. I don't know what happened, but it's been like 3 years, I think.
Now I gotta look it up. You said it was what now?
Poker Face.
No. My poker. Is that ain't the same song, is it?
No.
Okay.
It is, dude, it is good.
Natasha Lyonne. All right. Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out. Comedy. Ooh, nice.
It's got some funny elements to it. I'll give it that. Like, we watched
Steve Buscemi's in this, or at least his voice is.
We watched 2 episodes of season 2. Well, at least I have with Miranda, and I was like back into it. The first season, though. So Miranda watched it, and I'm like, "What are you watching?" And she was like, "It's a show called Poker Face." And so I sat down and watched 1 episode with her, and then next thing I know, I'm in the bedroom like, "Yo, we're gonna watch another one," or she already watched one, so then I would have to rewatch it.
That's a terrible photo, but anyway, or at least one small one anyway. But yeah,
that's what her normal look is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She's just this like gypsy soul. You just gotta
watch
a couple episodes.
Gotta give it a chance.
You'll get the premise of it, but it's actually a really good show.
Cool. Not too bad at all. And Mike said in the chat, now I got Cartman in my head singing my Is there any other version that's any good? I mean, just saying.
No.
I mean, yes, no. Right, exactly. All right, well, let's move on to the next topic here. Let's get into a little bit of movie news. There ain't much. I covered most of it last week, so here we go. Bright side of preparing for 3 weeks off, we didn't have a whole lot to talk about when it comes to this week. I front loaded it all last week, so yeah, there you go. But there was a trailer that come out this week for those people who like the Alien franchise. I'm not sure there's many people on this show that do, but Alien Earth is an upcoming FX Hulu television series. Looks kind of scary, so let's check out the trailer and we'll talk about it. Here we go.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 1.
How's our girl?
She's ready.
You're gonna be the first person to transition from a human body to a synthetic.
Because I'm special.
That's right.
God.
You're very, very special.
Very cyborg.
Spacecraft.
I want what's on that ship.
We can do it. We're fast. We're strong. We don't break.
It's like a zoo, but the animals got out.
This ship collected 5 different life forms from the darkest corners of the universe. Monsters.
That sounds always creeps me out.
Invasive species. Predatory.
We don't lock them down. it will be too late.
All I know is I've said it before and I'll say it again. The Predator and Alien franchise appears to be kind of on a bit of an uptick as of late. They've been doing some good, scary stuff. And apparently Predator Killer of Killers came out on Hulu yesterday, and it's been getting rave reviews.
I gotta watch that.
Saying that is actually probably the best Predator thing since the original is what a lot of people have been saying. So definitely worth checking out there. But this is one of those things that had Alien Romulus last year that came out. And of course, they're doing a sequel to that movie now after its great success in the theaters. And now we got this Alien Earth series where the aliens have come to Earth, which is actually set, I think, in the timeline like before the original film starring Sigourney Weaver. So I'm interested to see how this ends up going in the timeline, because if the aliens were on Earth, you would think eventually Earth wouldn't be humanoid anymore. You know, like
it doesn't seem like it. Seems like they're doing cybernetic transplants and shit. So, like, again, this is the reason why I say what I said before. This is what happens when you touch shit and you shouldn't be touching shit.
Fair enough. Yeah. Why can't we just leave shit alone? You know, like just let it stay in space where it needs to be.
Yeah.
God, I mean,
touching shit.
We're about to have 7 Jurassic World movies to tell us why you shouldn't be messing with DNA.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now we're going to be going to space and wrecking their crap up and bringing them home. It's like, what? Why? You know, like,
leave it alone.
Just stop. Yeah. So,
but it does look very intriguing. It does look
very, very scary. There was a time when both franchises kind of went to more actiony, and it just wasn't as, you know, the horror wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
Like it was in the original. So I'm glad to see that's coming back. I'm hoping the same comes back for Jurassic World and this upcoming Rebirth film coming out in a couple weeks. So yeah, I mean, it's like we always said too, like sometimes, you know, a franchise runs its course, but with the proper writing and proper directing and right cast and all this, the right story, you can actually bring them back. You really can. Mm-hmm. If they can bring back the Terminator franchise, they've done a wonder, because that is deader than a doornail. So good luck. I mean, I know James Cameron said he'd love to give it a try, but he's still, wrapped up in his Avatar stuff for sure. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if that'll end up ever happening. But yeah, all in all, I think this actually looks pretty good. You guys gonna maybe check it out? You know, I don't know if you're a big fan of it.
It looks good though, but like,
yeah,
again,
so much stuff.
Shit.
Yeah, just quit doing it. Yeah, Mike said he
don't do it. I mean, I don't like them.
Yeah, I don't blame. I'm not a big horror movie either. I like, and that's why we don't talk for transparency. We don't really talk a lot of horror stuff here on the channel too much, just because I'm not a big fan of them. And I don't know if you guys really. I know Miranda says she's not. Brandon, maybe, I don't know.
I mean, a little bit. Like, don't get me wrong. There are some horror movies I enjoy, but like, I don't know. It's not my.
Yeah, I don't think Matt. I mean, Matt and I, we like Jurassic World and Alien. I like Predator. I like Scream. But that's more like a slasher. It almost does a spoof of itself in a way too.
Like the Michael Myers and stuff, those ones I'll get into more than something like that.
Yeah, yeah. To me, it's like once you start involving like, poltergeist or ghosts and, weird, sick, twisted. No, I can't get into it. But aliens and, slashers and, like aliens or dinosaurs chasing down people, I'm all for that. But
you know why I think that is because like those are, you got dinosaurs and you got aliens. Those are something that left up to the imagination.
Yeah.
When you have like slasher films, that's more real because like that's people. You know what I mean? Like those are real. Like behind the mask is a human being. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's in that aspect. It's like it's a different level of scary in the sense of like that's an everyday thing that could possibly happen. With you have aliens and like dinosaurs. It's like it's out of the realm. I don't know the way we're doing shit right now.
I feel like as long as we don't go to Australia, nothing like a dinosaur is going to kill us.
To Brandon's point, in Australia, you don't need to mess with stuff. It's already scary.
It's already scary.
Everything else, it could happen. I don't want to watch a movie about it either.
But I've been saying they're going to do Jurassic Park at some point. Whenever they can, they're going to.
That's a terrible idea.
I know. I mean,
hold on. I've been following politics long enough. That's scary enough.
It's already
horror in itself.
Well, I mean, we've already seen, like, without getting too political just yet, but we've already seen what they can do with, like, airborne diseases and shit. But yeah, we'll get into that more.
And
later.
the crazy thing is, they put it in movies and they tell you they're gonna do it.
Kinda, yeah. Everybody ever seen
Not
Outbreak?
kinda. They did.
Very much so, yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
They kind of have to. Like, if deep down, they have to tell you what they're gonna do.
Yeah,
It's like their ethical code.
or something
It's
they
weird.
to be kind of blunt about. They get off on.
Yeah, that too.
Tell you what we're about to do to you.
Yeah.
You're gonna watch it. You're gonna enjoy it, and then we're gonna do it to you. You know.
Yeah.
It's like, this is what's gonna happen. There's nothing you could do about it, clearly, but this is the outcome, and we'll look like the saviors at the end of the day because we'll come in and clean up our own mess because, well, we know how to do it.
Pretty much the way it goes. Yeah. By the way, before we move on too far here, Mike said no spoilers, but there is a surprise ending to the Money in the Bank main event. Okay, so definitely don't tell us that one.
Right, yeah.
We'll try to avoid that one as best as we can, so maybe we can at least watch
Shut
the main
your
event.
whore mouth.
Fair enough. And then he said, "Here's a time filler Miranda will like. If a Marvel superhero went over to DC, who would it be, and what DC villain would be their arch rival?" Marvel hero over to DC and DC.
On that note, I'm gonna go pee.
I wanted about.
All right, hold on. Like,
Okay.
dead ass, real quick.
Right. Yeah.
Not you, Miranda. You can vacate.
Okay. No.
If you would have a
And I
Marvel,
expect this to be over when I come back.
No promises.
a hero from so it's a hero from DC that would, or Marvel, that would go to DC, but then who would his villain be in DC?
From DC, yeah.
Oh.
That's a little.
I would like to see again.
I got a good one, or at least I would like to see this. Captain America and Peacemaker would be his villain.
Ooh.
The moral efficacies of that, or I think that's the right word, the moral dilemmas that they would face. I think keeping Peacemaker as a villain. I know he's kind of an anti-hero in the shows. I don't know, that seeing like Chris Evans against John Cena, take my money. That'd be hilarious. So yeah,
I would like to see Black Panther dropped into Gotham and have someone like either Two-Face. Joker seems a little fucking extreme for Black Panther.
Yeah.
But it's also one of those things of like a very interesting combination because you have Panther, who's very smart, very cunning. I mean, he is very smart, cunning, but then you have the absolute unpredictableness of Joker in that aspect of like, we've watched him battle with Batman, and in a lot of ways he's way smarter than he gets credit for, like Joker, but he's also just unhinged, you know. Could you imagine Panther having to deal with some of the things and situations that Batman had to deal with?
Well, in a lot of ways, I kind of look at Black Panther as almost Marvel's Batman to some degree.
To some degree, yes.
Well, maybe not the king of a country, but the tech side of things and that sort of stuff. But
if you think about it, I mean, Batman is kind of like the king of Gotham. Like he,
in a way,
you know what I mean? He's just not
in the shadows type thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Bruce Wayne,
yeah. The billionaire of Gotham, that you could say that in some respects, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Aaron's got a thought on this or not, but
that Peacekeeper,
physically and just the morality of it, I think would be interesting, like to kind of explore.
Or even Tony Stark dealing with Lex.
That can be fun too. Yeah, two billionaires, two different ideologies. That could be fun. Yeah, no doubt about it. So yeah, that's definitely a good call. If I don't hear from Aaron, we'll just move on. But that's okay. That's a good one. I kind of like that one. So yeah, and she's not back yet, so we're good. All right. Well, we'll move on to the rapid fire segment. I've got a couple little bit of movie news items that we talk about in the quick format. So let's do that. All right, the first one in the rapid fire segment I thought would be kind of fun to explore is something that I wanted to get the gamers here their I guess opinion on it. Mass Effect apparently is getting a live action television series coming to Amazon Prime. Anybody play Mass Effect? I've never played it.
Played a lot of Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Is
own the collection.
That's dangerous.
Dangerous.
Yeah, the shit you can do in Mass Effect is crazy.
Well, it is a streaming service, so maybe you can get away with certain things
Mm-hmm.
you can get elsewhere. Does it lend itself well to a television series? I mean,
yes, it actually does. Like if they don't fuck it up like they did, like the Halo series, whatever. But
yeah, I think it was Amazon who did that too, if I'm not mistaken.
The huge mistake that they did with that whole fucking series,
taking a helmet on.
Yeah, why would you
do
that? Like, that was the whole point behind Master Chief.
Mm-hmm.
With Shepard, totally different, because Shepard, you're Shepard, right? You played as Master Chief in Halo, okay? In Mass Effect, you're Shepard. You make your version of Shepard. So, like, that doesn't matter. His face doesn't matter. It's the story, and it's a very intriguing story. But the thing I love about the Mass Effect games is consequences carry over from game to game. If somebody dies in the first game, that shit carries over to the second game. There's mention of them. There's stuff like, and you get hit with choices in this game that affect the next game, so on and so forth. Like, if you could somehow wrap all that up, plus the deep dialogue that Shepard has literally with everybody on his crew to show how, when they do die, why it matters, whether it be a sacrifice or a mistake made or whatever the case may be, like, it has an impact. If you can wrap that up with all these different personalities and nail the personalities, like, you see the guy in the back by the top of the helmet with the gun, pointing it up.
Yeah.
His name starts with a G. I have kept him alive through all of my campaigns. He is probably one of Shepard's best and closest friends in my campaign. Their relationship. The alien-looking girl that looked like she has braids, but it's not braids.
She looks like Nebulous a little bit.
Yeah.
Or Nebula, yeah.
The first playthrough, I sacrificed her. The chick.
Wow.
I did. It felt, yeah. There's.
You had to make decisions.
The one in the hood below her is a female also. She's like a Quarian. Their race is kind of like Amish in a sense, but like they get to go on these pilgrimages and shit. And like the creature next to him is a doctor, Solarian. I think he's a Solarian. I could be wrong. His story, you can't really see his head because it's turned weird, but there's the alien thing and then there's the little red thing. His name is Rex. Over right there.
Yeah.
Yes. Those two have a very interesting story together due to the races Rex and how breeding works, and it's fucked up. You have to make a decision in the game to do one or two things. And if you make a decision, like, you effectively cut off a lifeline, period. And it is crazy. So the show could be great if they stick to the story.
Okay. Well, everything you just said, I have no idea about. So I'm trusting you 1,000%. This is the Mass Effect show coming to Amazon if Moreno's interested. So yeah.
Would you say, Aaron?
They won't.
They won't, but you could hope.
Now, I've heard that Fallout's good on Amazon right now.
Yeah, but it's hard to fuck up Fallout, to be honest.
Okay. See, that's the thing. I don't know anything about these properties as much as you guys do. I'm not as big of a gamer. Certain ones, which we'll talk about one a little bit later, I'll definitely be buying. But so, yeah, I mean, don't be wrong. I think it's intriguing. So, yeah, go ahead.
Fallout has a lot of room to kind of play with it. Now, from what Brandon was saying, this show does not have a lot of room.
It does and it doesn't. It's just you have to make those decisions mean something. Like, in the game, that's one of the best parts of the game is the relationship aspect of it, but the consequences to Shepard's actions play out through the whole game. A decision that you make early on changes a decision that you don't know about later in the fucking game because you made this decision. So, like, again, like I said, you are Shepard, so it's on you to make those decisions on your morality standpoint. You have to nail Shepard as somebody who is that. He makes decisions based off of the situation and not knowing, honestly, what's going to happen later, but you make the call in the moment. So, like, you can't make them one-sided, because then it's no point, because there's a lot of shit that happens through the story of the game that, like, culminates in all of these decisions. And and this isn't just like a singular incident. You're going against an entity that is whole point is to wipe out everything in the universe. And so you're trying to stop that. And, like, so humanity's fate is literally in your hands through a lot of the stuff that you're doing. You have to make it work. And if you don't, and Shepard comes off as this, because you can play him through the game as just this one-sided, and it's just not, it's not as intriguing. It's really not. Like, your decisions shape the game, and, like, you have to be able to translate that to a TV show, and we'll see if
we've seen varying results on that. But the real question is, like with Halo, does Shepard ever take his helmet off?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, maybe they won't have that problem then.
Yeah, no, I don't understand why they took his fucking helmet off. I really don't.
Like, well, and I've got family members who actually enjoyed the Halo show, even with that. But there were a lot of fans I know were not happy they took his
because
helmet
it was the thing. Like, no one knew what Master. You weren't supposed to know. Mm-hmm. He was literally this super soldier who was the end all be all for the, like, and then what is it? The second episode, or what was the first one? Whatever the fuck it was. You just took his fucking helmet off. You're like, oh, well, there he is.
It's like, if you get like now this guy, I don't remember who played Master Chief in Halo, but I know he wasn't at the level, like, if you get like an actor like a Robert Downey Jr., he's going to take a helmet off. Even if he's Dr. Doom, Iron Man, he's going to, because they want to show his face. Mm-hmm. He's probably got his contract somewhere, or like the Mandalorian. They literally do this whole storyline about how Mandalorians never remove their helmet, but they have the main character is a Mandalorian who removes his helmet because he doesn't fall under that creed. So they wrote it in a way to get Pedro Pascal, the main actor, to remove the freaking helmet. So, in that case, I get it from some aspect, as the actor wants to, become more popular by doing the Halo show. But at the same time, in that story, if the storyline dictates he needs to have it on, you shouldn't be changing it. But
he never took his fucking helmet off. There were other soldiers who took their helmets off. He never took his fucking helmet off.
Yeah, it was part of his creed. Just don't do that. But hopefully Amazon Prime will not screw this up like they maybe kind of screwed. And just so you know, Halo season 2, after that it got canceled. But I've heard that. I've heard Halo may be trying to shop it around to other streaming services, so we'll have to wait and see if we get season 3 somewhere. But James Gunn, the director of Superman and the head over there at DC Studios, has officially announced that Superman is officially 100% complete, and the film is going to be coming out as scheduled on July 11th, as we all thought. He wrote this thank you to all of his collaborators. He said it's been a joy, and the rest of you, he can't wait for everybody to see the film. So that was nice to see that the film is 100% shot, visual effects are done, and we are ready to roll on that. So good to see from James Gunn over there, and good for DC too. Hopefully this will be a hit. They're saying the film is actually projected right now to make about $150 to $170 million opening weekend in the United States alone. So if that's the case, that's a great success for the brand new DC universe, and that would put it on pace to make probably around $700 to $1 billion. If they can do that, they're off and running when it comes to their new DC. If it's 500 million or 600 million, they're going to say good, in my opinion. If it's 700 or more, they're going to say great. We're in a great spot. After $1 billion, they're popping champagne over there at DC. So it would officially, if it hits 150, 170, it will. I think it's 160 or so is the top DC movie of all time. If it hits 170, it will be officially the #1 DC film opening weekend ever in history. So this could be a great start for the new universe. And if that's the case, well, hopefully we'll get a lot more coming down the line. But if it fails, that's another story. So big hopes there for DC and Superman for sure. Sylvester Stallone's television series Tulsa King on Paramount Plus. I don't know if anybody's checked that out. I've heard it's really good. Apparently, it's getting a spinoff show in the works set in New Orleans, and apparently Samuel L. Jackson is set to star in that show. Yeah, for those of you who like that series out there, got that to look forward to. But like I said, I haven't seen a whole lot of this, but I've heard it's very good. It's very anti-woke too, from what I understand. There's a lot of clips out there of Sylvester Stallone from that show not taking that sort of stuff, so that's kind of cool to see. We've also got what's that?
I thought Samuel L. Jackson fled the country.
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that I'm aware of.
The MFs don't take no crap. I mean, he ain't going nowhere. I don't know. I don't know where you heard that one, but let me know. I can look into it.
Well, I guess I shouldn't say that unless I've got.
Maybe this is a picture of him getting, I don't know. I don't know why he would have fled. But.
It was around the same time that Ellen fled the country, and there was like some post or something that listed a bunch of people that also fled the country, and he was one of them.
Really? Well, you know how some of those lists are. You never can't tell. But I mean, Rosie O'Donnell left and Ellen left. So yeah, I mean, not saying he didn't, but I don't know where Tulsa King is shot. But I mean, he's doing other stuff too. He was even on record as saying this week that I guess somebody was asking why he doesn't, do more Oscar type worthy roles. He's like, there's people chasing statues all over the place. He's like, I do movies to sell popcorn and put butts in seats and just entertain people. So I was happy to see that. He was kind of talking about Star Wars and some other stuff he's done in the past, Marvel. So yeah, I prefer actors like that to me more than I do the Oscar stuff. It's just not for me. But yeah, no, we'll have to wait and see about the Sam Jackson thing. But yeah, I hadn't heard that. We also got Walter Goggins apparently is up for the role of M. Bison in the upcoming Street Fighter reboot film. Some people were kind of online going, this doesn't fit. But I don't know. I mean, I've seen him in some things. I've not thought he was bad in or anything. I just don't know if the character would work for him.
I don't know if the character of M. Bison would work. I'm
not sure. It's just something I would have to see. There's obviously like pictures online you can see of people tried to Photoshop him and make him look like the character, but I don't know. I mean, this film also recently lost the director, had to get a new director, so it's kind of going through its ups and downs right now. So I hope it's not bad, but it's still a couple years out, I believe. So I'll keep you updated on this if I hear more about it. But got a casting thing there. Another casting bit of news. Obviously, we've talked about this in the past, but Ryan Coogler, the director of Black Panther 3, has officially confirmed what Denzel Washington said previously, and he is officially in Black Panther 3. So Denzel Washington will be making an appearance in that film in some role at some point whenever that film gets made, probably after Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars in the next coming years. So good to see that as Denzel Washington. I believe he said after this film, he's not going to have a whole lot of more films that he wants to do before he retires. So this will be one of his final roles that at least in the next few years for sure. And last but not least, in the rapid fire news, apparently, she ran. Apparently a live action Care Bears movie is in the works at Warner Brothers.
You got to be shitting me.
No. I didn't know anybody here was fans. You got a fan here? Let's go.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay.
Guess which bear? Guess which bear?
I don't know.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. You are 100% correct.
Who doesn't love Grumpy Bear?
Look, hold on. I got Care Bear socks on right now.
I'm surprised that wasn't the first tattoo she got.
Unreal. I didn't know she was that big of a fan.
Hold on. I'm going to send you.
Okay.
I'm going to send you my favorite Care Bear. Honestly.
Well, speaking of Sam Jackson, what if he ends up being the voice of Grumpy Bear?
Oh, if he
that was in the comments. Somebody said that. But yeah,
that would be funny as hell.
Wait, wonder who else could be the cast of the Care Bears.
If Miranda gets a tattoo of Grumpy Bear, it needs to go on her stomach, just like Grumpy Bear.
No, I got too much baby stretch marks on my belly.
That would be like the perfect place for a Care Bear tattoo, though, right there on the belly.
Yeah,
you about have to.
No, she'll probably get it on her ankle. Maybe that's what I'll buy her.
I honestly didn't know there was many people who even still like this.
I used to watch the Care Bear.
I watched it a little bit when I was a kid. I like, what was it, Lionheart? I think it was.
Yeah, Lionheart was good. I liked him.
They ended up going into some other animals besides just bears at one point, I think. But
they were called something else. They were part of the Care Bear family, but they
cousins.
weren't. Yeah, Care Cousins, or was it? Were they just called cousins?
I don't remember.
I can't remember. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going by the commenters here. Like, yeah, they had cousins.
Yeah.
Their most powerful weapon was it love or whatnot, or I don't know.
Man,
I guess it depends on
That was a show back in the fucking 80s to 90s.
Well, not to mention that, but the merch and everything they sold as well. You know, back in the day.
I bought Miranda. She has a grumpy Care Bear pop.
Well, here's a question: would you prefer it be live action, as they say it's going to be, or an animated thing? But sounds like it's going to be live action.
Like live action in the sense of
probably animated bears, like Ted or like Ted, like they do.
Oh,
Ted. Now I don't know if it'd take place in a fictional universe or the real world. I would hope it'd be like in their own world. Or
yeah,
whatever.
I would rather be in their own world. Like
I don't know. I mean, you know how movies are nowadays. You got to bring everything into the real world.
That's why I like the Smurfs, because like Gilgamore.
And what they do, they brought him into the real world.
Yeah, and it was
they brought Sonic into the real world. You know, they're bringing. There was rumors at one point that the second Mario Brothers movie, being they're calling it Super Mario World, would be in the real world. I'm going, please don't.
Side note.
Yeah.
Super Mario Kart World.
Mm-hmm. New game.
Nintendo Switch 2.
Legit.
What, you guys play it or got one?
No.
Oh.
Watch.
No, I want one.
Oh, watch videos and stuff. Okay.
Miranda,
I want one. I just don't have the money right now.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, maybe that's the plan. I'd probably buy the combo pack.
I'm never going to find this damn picture.
Oh, I've actually heard there's been a lot of reports that I guess people are walking into Walmarts and stuff and they're overstocked with Switches. Like it's like nobody's buying them. I don't know how true it is.
Switch 2s?
I didn't even think to look today. But...
So I'm kind of curious if I'll maybe go to Walmart tomorrow.
Probably the price tag.
Yeah, maybe. Or it's just, maybe it's just people just can't afford it at the moment. I don't know.
Hey, I told Miranda, she told me, and I said, well, it's cheaper than the PS4s and the 3 VR headsets we purchased.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I'm still looking to sell my Switch 1 if I get a second one too. Which, by the way, if you want a computer, it's still available.
Oh, you didn't get it?
Things came up. I guess I could talk about it later. I just don't want to put it out there for his business out there in the middle. But anyway, it's kind of a first come basis at this point.
I understand.
But it's I get it. Money's tight, so but it ain't going nowhere for the time being. But anyhow, just so you know. So yeah, but
yeah, like that. I mean, you gotta say, back then, I swear to you, I had this conversation the other day. TV and cartoons for us vastly fucking. I have children, and I still watch cartoons.
Yeah, hell, but I'm an adult. I watch cartoons depending on what it is.
I can't get into kids' cartoons like I got into cartoons when we were kids.
I don't watch kids' cartoons. I watch old cartoons.
Like that. Like it is the substance of the fucking cartoons, and they said it. Would you want to call it violent, whatever. But you knew it wasn't it wasn't real life.
You didn't have to be told don't do that because we were not stupid.
When you saw G.I. Joe, and it was nothing at the time, but they were shooting laser guns.
Yeah.
And people were dodging, like that's not fucking real life, right? They're Snake Eyes isn't real. He's the only ninja on the fuck, like him and Storm Shadow, like. But do you watch cartoons then? Comparatively to cartoons now, and I don't want to hear it's this whole you're old and you're biased. No, they had every G.I. Joe episode you watched, there was a fucking message at the end of that. At the beginning.
The more you know.
Yeah.
You know?
Teen Titans. This is the one that pissed me off. Teen Titans compared to Teen Titans Go. I remember when Jaden first watched Teen Titans Go, I said, what is this?
The good version.
Teen Titans. And I go, no, it's not. Like,
my bad. Go
with the same thing.
No.
You have Robin, who is basically fawning over a girl who doesn't know he exists. And he does the dumbest shit to try to get her attention. And he's made to look like a fool in front of nobody respects him in that whole situation.
Would you believe that show's still on the air?
Of course it is.
It is.
But in the original Teen Titans, like the one we grew up watching,
that I've heard was great.
We watched Robin try to become a leader of a ragtag group of people or group of kids. Like that was the whole point. But also staying out of the shadow of Batman because that's what he was being compared to. And it's like, I am not Bruce. Like, you know what I mean? And it was this interesting dynamic where Bruce finally gives him the respect and the nod, not only that he knew he was going to get, but that he deserved, because it was Robin taking charge and leading a group, becoming a team, holding it all together. Like, yeah. I'm about
cartoons were just way better back then. That's the bottom line.
Thundercats.
Yeah, Thundercats. Before we go off on a big diatribe here on other cartoons, Mike said, I think Mike might be trolling a little bit, or maybe not. He said, "I just got back from putting a little one to bed. What's going on with these creepy Care Bears?" Mike, you might offend someone on the channel. We just found out.
You don't
That's
like Care
not
Bears?
nice. Out of all the other shit you watch, you're gonna call the Care Bears creepy?
Apparently, Miranda's a big fan, Mike. Just so you know, which I didn't know until. But the story is apparently there's a live-action Care Bears movie in the works at Warner Brothers, so we're going to be getting a movie in the next.
I just hope they don't make those guys look creepy.
Yeah.
It's going to be like it was when they first introduced Sonic, and he looked weird.
Well, like with everything else we've seen with Stitch or Toothless in the recent months or whatnot, if you nail the look, you may have a winner, depending on what it is. Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it. So, now that I know we've got someone interested, I'm looking forward to seeing how this ends up going. So,
I'm just going to tell you what bear it is. It's a custom, and it's a fuck around, find out bear. And I can't find it.
Beautiful. Man, they got to come up with one of those for Care Bears. Dude,
that one is voiced by Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, yeah. I got you. That'd be hilarious.
It's an SVG file, so I plan on cutting it out on the Cricut and putting it on.
Nice.
That's dope.
Grumpy bear. That's a Ew. Mike said, "You do realize, by the way, in the cartoon G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, that Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow never once had a battle one-on-one."
I know, which is weird.
Nobody cares about G.I. Joes.
Nobody cares about Care Bears.
You didn't even like Scarlet and Lady
Brandon,
J.
you do too, and you know you do.
It represented the women too. They got Scarlet, Lady J. What was the name of the villain? Crap. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, she wore the scantily clad clothes.
Yeah, she wore that leather.
Why you say leather like that?
I don't know.
I remember getting into a fight with my cousin Brandon and his cousin Eddie over G.I. Joes. Eddie doesn't know it all.
Sergeant Slaughter also got a role on G.I. Joe at one point.
Yes, he did. What was the name of his character?
Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I was just listening to wrestling podcast the other day, OSW reviews, and they were in this like the early, and they talked about Slaughter voicing for G.I. Joe, and I was like, oh yeah, that fucking happened.
Yeah, they trimmed him down and bulked him up, but
yeah, he was
definitely Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah,
sounded like. I mean, he's always had that great voice for military man. Anyway, so
if you could get a cartoon to come back,
if you could pick a cartoon to come back from your childhood and be made into a movie, what would that be?
Garfield and Friends.
They already got movies, and they're pretty good.
Well, not with and Friends. Garfield movie.
You're right. What normal?
Yeah.
Yeah, the pigs and stuff.
The pig and the rooster and the.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That's something they might as well try. I don't know. A lot of the ones that I would probably pick probably already been done.
Yeah,
I mean, I used to be a big Silverhawks fan, but they're not going to do that.
Dude, you beat me to it. I was going to say Silverhawks or Brave Star, and I know you don't know what the hell Brave Star. Do you know what Brave Star was?
No.
Google it. You'll see it.
Well, while we do that, Mike said Voltron. I believe Voltron is being made.
Mike, dude, I had the my size Voltron toy. Like, oh my goodness. Yeah, Voltron's another one.
I believe. Oh yeah. See, as of right now, Voltron. The release date's currently unknown, but it will be starring Henry Cavill, who played the Superman.
Ooh.
Right now,
for sure.
It looks like it's included in Amazon MGM Studios 2026 release date slate right now. So it's being worked on. It's
movie or TV show?
Movie. Live action Voltron film. So
that'll be dope.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're doing Masters of the Universe. That's coming out, I believe, next year. We've got.
You got to get that right too, though. Masters of the Universe. He-Man could be great if you do it right.
Yeah, He-Man. Yeah. So there's definitely some movement going on those fronts, but Silverhawks, I don't think that's ever going to happen. I mean, Voltron at least was more on the popular level than I think those other ones were. No doubt about
Brave
it.
Star,
Yeah.
you know, I enjoyed the shit out of Brave Star, but
So yeah, there you go, Mike. Got something to look forward to. Go ahead, Aaron. Sorry.
Currently, I wouldn't want anything to be redone because the writers now, directors, they're just screwing things up. I mean, I know there's been some good hits. I mean, Sonic was pretty good, but
Still need to watch
there's been a lot more misses than there's been hits. So I just wouldn't want them to touch anything.
Yeah, I am starting to become very concerned about Fantastic Four. Just some of the things I've heard, like Sue Storm may be the pseudo leader in the film, but normally it's just because the comics, I don't mind like a female lead. It's just in the comics, it's Reed Richards. He's the leader.
Yeah, but unless something happens, I know of a storyline and what took place and why Reed wasn't the leader. Like his whole relationship with Sue and changed because of.
Well, I mean, if it makes narrative sense, okay. But then they're I mean, we've talked about the female Silver Surfer. Again, then they tried to say,
well, doesn't matter in a sense because, like,
not really. They say it's because the other Silver Surfer will be in the main MCU timeline. This is an alternate universe, but a lot of people feel like that's just an excuse to
he's had
Pedro Pascal is not white anyway, and they wanted to race bait there. So there's a lot of people wondering if it's going to be another one of those agenda-driven things. And I'm going, I hope not. I just want a good Marvel movie. What's that?
This is Marvel.
Well, did you hear about what happened this week? I didn't bring it up, but apparently in the comics, there's a white Black Panther now.
There was White Tiger. I don't know about a white.
White Black Panther. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up real quick. I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I think it may be a bit of a red herring though, because supposedly it's supposed to be don't quote me on, but I think it's supposed to be the son of T'Challa. And I don't know how. I'd have to look into it deeper, but apparently, I can't remember the name of the character. Okay, T'Challa's white son Katema as future Black Panther and King of Wakanda. Let me see if I can pull up the picture here. But this is the new Black Panther in the comics. At least at the end of this run, he takes off his mask and reveals that he's now the king of Wakanda. After defeating, I think, the Black Panther in the comics. So it's got a lot of people going, they're going to try to reverse wokeify. There's already rumors that Ryan Gosling is going to be the new Black Panther in the MCU.
That came out a while ago.
Fair.
That came out after Chadwick Boseman died.
Yeah. So, but now they've done it officially in the comics. And sometimes when they do things in the comics, not too long after the MCU tries it. I don't know if the MCU's got the huevos to give this a shot. But now the reason why I say I think it's a bit of a black herring, the comic ends like
black
this.
Herring, red herring.
Yeah, red herring. Sorry, terrible. I got my colors on the line. Anyway, sorry, but anyway, a red herring because at the end it's kind of like a Captain Hydra reveal at the very end, and then of course he wasn't really Captain Hydra in the comics or something, right? So maybe he says he's the son and the heir to the throne, but he's really not. You know what I mean? It could be one of those situations, but this had the internet all going nuts this week because of this old news. So, I mean, I just think they just need to stop doing this one way or the other. I don't know if they're trying to make it up to the white people now. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Anywho, moving on from that. But you have any thoughts on that at all or anything? But it's just like
maybe after the Supreme Court ruling the other day, they're afraid.
Reverse discrimination. We can't do that now, apparently. I don't know. But yeah, we're going to talk about that a little later, too. But to me, it's just like if you got a character already made in the comics or in novels or whatever, keep it the way it is. Stop switching stuff, and you want everybody all mad.
But it's also too, even if this is something apart in the comics, right? And it happens in the comics it has narrative reason that it's happening.
And we don't know how this run's going to end.
A lot of people don't read the comics, so when comic book accurate shit comes up, because people are getting into the comic books because of the movies, because of the characters, and then they're finding this shit out, and now everybody's like, "Oh no, but it's supposed to happen." Like you don't. because you don't read the comics, you don't know. So now that because you're basing everything off of this is the current character that you know is this. It's the same thing I said about with Tony Stark becoming Doctor Doom. Why it would work if it was Stark as Doctor Doom, but we're getting Victor, so that doesn't matter.
I'm still curious to see how that ends up going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, like I said, I mean, we don't know the end of this comic run. This is just the last panel of the last book that's been released this week. So the storyline ends. It may be a completely different narrative. We just got to wait and see. But yeah, people lost their minds over that this week. But Mike made a good comment. He said, "Cast Sheamus as the new Black Panther. If you're going to go white, why not go all the way? I mean, a ginger as
brother,
well."
Bro, kicking the shit out of people.
Bruh, yeah. Fella! Wakanda fella! That's terrible. But anyway, moving on before we get canceled. Sorry, YouTube. Rumble won't care. But
Wakanda fella, you are fucking retarded. Wakanda fella.
You just figure this out? Like, dude.
He's standing in like
yeah. Fight night. Anyway. Moving on. All right, let's get into a little bit of sports, shall we? How about that? Let's go. Yeah. Save us. I don't know if there's any recovering from that. I really don't.
That was
my bad, Mike. I didn't realize I missed a comment there. Where did I miss one? Oh, no. Oh, yeah, here we go. Mike said, talk about creepy, inappropriate things or toys WWF once had. Thumb wrestlers. I had some of those where you literally put your thumb up their asses and thumb wrestled with them. Yeah, those, but they were great. Yeah. All right, now I got to pull up a photo so people don't think I'm just ridiculous.
What did you just say?
What?
What did you just say?
I gotta pull up a photo so y'all don't think I'm ridiculous. I think that's what I said. Have you ever heard of thumb wrestlers?
No.
These are like popular.
All I heard was you sticking your thumb on people's asses. That's what I heard.
These little rubber like wrestling figures were made, and like they had holes in their butts where you could stick your thumb in there and like, you kind of move them around with your finger, and they'd wrestle each other. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I don't know if I can find a good. Yeah, this is what they look like from the top. Yeah, I'm not crazy, and Mike's not. He's not fibbing here. This is real.
It's like a puppet. You stick your hand up the puppet's ass. Oh, but it's got
they got legs and shit.
They were only about
okay, so it's really up the butt.
Yeah,
they were only about this big, but yeah, they were just for you to. Yeah, here you go. Here's a GIF of it. I don't know if it's actually going to pull up though, but yeah, you put them on your thumb. And you actually wrestled with them. It was.
Oh my god!
Find a better photograph of how this worked, but it's not
hilarious.
Yeah, and maybe not one of WWF's better ideas. I'm not sure, but yeah. I don't think I still have any. I had a bunch at one point. Definitely had the Roddy Piper
one. Bet you did.
Shut up. Calm down, birthday boy. You know what I mean? But it's like thumb wrestling, but with actual rubber figures.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting. Yeah. So anyway, that's the long and short of that.
Listen, toys were better back then too.
Maybe not always. Maybe. I mean,
they were way more interactive, literally.
Yeah. I mean. But he isn't wrong when he said it. You literally put your thumb up their ass. Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
People weren't so sensitive about things either.
No, you did it. God. You picked your favorite wrestler, put your thumb right up his butt.
And yeah, and you yeah. Anyway, moving on, man. Just gotta make it awkward, don't you? Anyhow, all right. So the Indiana Pacers, game 1 of the NBA Finals was Thursday night. And the Pacers led the game for all of 0.3 seconds. The 0.3 seconds at the end of the game that mattered. They were losing by 15, by 10, by 9. But with 0.3 seconds left, Tyrese Halliburton hits a 2-point shot, down by 1 to win the game and stun the Oklahoma City Thunder in Oklahoma City. So, yeah, the Pacers are up 1-0 with 3 games away from an NBA championship here. Shocking. And a lot of people thought that the Thunder was going to roll. And for the most part, they did in this game. Like I said, I believe with 9 minutes to go, they had a 15-point lead. And in the history of the NBA Finals, 0 teams out of 182 have won the game after trailing by 9+ points in the final 3 minutes of an NBA Finals. I guess it says since 1971, but I heard all time. But apparently now that's one team has done that, and that is the Indiana Pacers. So, yeah, they're off to a good start with Game 2 tomorrow night on Sunday night around, I believe, 8:30 as well. So we'll see how that ends up going in OKC. But, yeah, just think about this. In this current 2025 postseason, the Indiana Pacers have trailed in all these games, and they won every single one of these here with these big deficits toward the end of the game. The comeback kids are the Indiana Pacers, and Tyrese Halliburton is showing himself to be very clutch right now. So, thoughts on the Indiana Pacers, how they're doing so far? Was you surprised that they won game 1? Well, I know we thought it was going to be, and it was a tough road. They, like I said, they trailed that entire game until the last less than a second. So they can't keep doing that. I'll tell you that. But as long as they stay, it's almost like they lull you to sleep. Like they said, they're like, all right, go ahead and get a 10, 15-point lead. The last 9 to 10 minutes of the game, we're going to kick your ass, and we're going to come back. So if they keep up that mojo, maybe. Thoughts?
I mean, you're right. That's what they're like the heart attack kids here, because like especially against a team like Oklahoma, Oklahoma beat the dog shit out of Milwaukee. They're the Timberwolves.
Yeah,
and that's what I thought this first game was going to be, and it was
for a while.
Mm-hmm. But man, Tyrese Halliburton is clutch every game. He's the one to get the win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they make a point to give him the ball for the final shot, and so far it's working. I mean, I don't know how much longer the Magic can hold. I hope it continues to hold for at least 3 more victories. I would love to see a Pacers title here in Indiana, no doubt about it. But that's the thing. I mean, when they fought where they played the Bucks, everybody thought the Bucks were going to roll them. When they played the Cavaliers, everybody thought the Cavaliers were going to roll them in 4 or 5 games. Same with the Knicks, and here we are with the Thunder, and it's just history repeating itself over and over and over again. And so far, the Pacers have had answers in all these situations, and I hope that continues. So yeah, it was funny because Matt wore his Pacers jersey in on Friday, and he got some flack for that. It was his Oladipo jersey, and he's like, "Man, if I'd have known I wasn't going to get this much flack, I wouldn't have worn it." But he was getting a little aggravated, I think, at one point. But he's not here tonight to defend himself, so I won't run him down too hard. But anyway, it was kind of funny that he hadn't worn it all season, and here he wore it on Friday afternoon. Yeah, so. Anyway, Mike said the last time the Thunder lost at home to an Eastern Conference team was March 2024 against the Pacers. So that tells you the run that the Thunder have been on as well. And yeah, it's just everybody's counting the Pacers out, and they still are. A lot of people are still saying, Thunder in 5 at this point, and that very well still may be the case. Yeah, it's just incredible to see what these Pacers are indeed doing. And there was the great videos going around out there of fans inside Gamebridge Fieldhouse during this game, watching it on the big screen, just losing their minds. Obviously, probably didn't have a whole lot to cheer for at most of the game, but that, like I said, when it mattered, they got the lead. And at that point, there was nothing Oklahoma City could do. So, yeah, it's just fun to watch.
You can tell that ball was about to go in from the jump.
Look at that. When he lets it go, it's like 1.8 seconds left. I'm sure that's the shot clock, but either way. But, yeah, there wasn't any time left when he let that go. And it just happened to fall, just like it has many, many times. So, yeah, it's outstanding to watch. So I'm looking forward to watching tomorrow night. Hopefully I don't jinx them. I watched this game, and they did okay at the end. So yeah, for a while there, I was like, maybe I ought to shut it off because I'm jinxing them. But they ended up winning. So anyway, so I'm glad to see it. So good luck to the Pacers. Bring one home, brothers, for sure. We also got the Madden cover is officially out. And, yeah, we got Saquon Barkley on the cover for the Philadelphia Eagles. I already looked. Chris in our fantasy league has Saquon Barkley. So if there's any injury, it's on him at this point. So
it's not good.
It's not. Now, to be fair, the Madden cover in the recent years has not been an automatic, season-ending injury, but it's always a bit of concerning when that happens. And it doesn't always necessarily mean injury; could just mean a lackluster season, things like that. But you're going to buy the college game this year, and I'm buying the pro again. Is that how this is going to work? Probably. I'm down for that.
I had a hell of a lot of fun playing that college game.
Yeah, it was it. And I hear they're bundled again this year, but we didn't do that last year, so we can both pay for one. But anyway, so I'm looking forward to another football season that's coming up very soon. Speaking of that, we got a few more football news items as well.
Hold on, real quick.
Oh, yeah.
I love the fact that they put that on the cover.
Yeah. And apparently I heard they ended up, I think there was some video going around of a green screen where they reshot this.
Yeah.
And it's not the actual jump, but yeah.
Because you got to think about it. That actual jump that took place was adrenaline.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was already running. They were doing this from a standing pace. So like they got him hooked up to wires. I seen the behind the scenes. And it's still a cool fucking shot, but I wish they would have just used, and I get why, because they wanted a more clean shot.
Yeah,
I wish they would have just used the actual shot of it, because it was phenomenal.
Yeah. So
they still have a thing to do.
They dropped a little bit of footage from the game. It wasn't much, but it does look
it looks good.
I mean, every year they always look good, and I always feel like they could never get any better with their graphics, but somehow they always end up doing it. I don't know how.
And we've always stated too, you don't need to buy another game.
No, I wish they'd just DLC the new rosters, and if you want to put in some patches to update the graphics or something, you could do that.
Sure,
with the current bid. But they won't do that because they really get your $80. So yeah, there you go. It's kind of a problem. But anywho, in regards to the actual NFL news, the Pittsburgh Steelers officially today signed Aaron Rodgers to a 1-year deal. So this is officially happening, Miranda. But I'm going to present to you an argument that it might not be as bad as it sounds, though. But here he is today, as a matter of fact, signing the contract. So it is officially a done deal, as we kind of speculated he was going to wait until after like OTAs and stuff to get in there, which a lot of veterans do nowadays. So you can't begrudge him there, I guess, too much. But but here's what I wanted to kind of let you guys in on. Apparently, doing a little bit of research on this, Aaron Rodgers last season actually had more touchdown passes than Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, as well as more yardage and touchdown passes than the quarterbacks listed here: Brock Purdy, Jordan Love, Kyler Murray, Jaden Daniels, who had an outstanding season, and CJ Stroud. Washed? Maybe not just yet. I did. Now, you could argue maybe some of that's because the Jets were trailing in a bunch of games. I don't know. But the stats, I mean, the interceptions are on par with some of these other players too. Speak for themselves.
But if you're going to say that's because the Jets were trailing, I mean, that goes back and forth with a lot of these teams, though. A lot of these quarterbacks. And their numbers.
Yeah. I mean, well, Jaden Daniels had a great season. So I don't know if I now granted he's a rookie too. As a rookie, 3,500 yards and 25 scores as a passing touchdowns.
It's only 9 interceptions.
Yeah, that's pretty good for a rookie. So he'll have probably a much better year this year. And I've already talked to Nate. He's not letting him go. So I don't blame him there.
No.
But I mean, Rodgers, I don't know.
Like I said, if this is his last year of football and we get a Super Bowl appearance out of it and maybe a win, cool.
I mean, never know. Never know. I mean,
and it's not a bad guy for the young guys to learn Howard to sit behind and learn from Aaron Rodgers. Like, let's cut the shit. It's Aaron Rodgers. Like, regardless of how you feel about him off the field, whatever, you know what I mean? To gain his knowledge, his football awareness knowledge, is a benefit to any young quarterback. So,
yeah. What was you gonna say, Aaron? Maybe
nothing.
Oh, sorry, you unmuted. I thought you were gonna say something. But
trade ideas in mind.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. Well, I was even thinking the other day, at what point? Because we know Miranda a little bit in fantasy football. She loves the Steelers. At what point does Aaron Rodgers become intriguing for Miranda to draft? That's my question.
Yeah.
Now, I would not expect her to maybe go with him as a starter.
Hold on. Who's my backup right now?
Oh,
I had Hurts, but
as a backup to Hurts, I'd take him. Why not? I mean, I'm just saying at some point in the draft, not many people are going to take him, but somebody's going to look at him
not high either. So she could get him at a low Low pick too.
Yeah, well, she doesn't overplay her hand. But that's So yeah, I mean, who knows? what would you do if he threw for like almost 4,000 yards and 28 scores like he did last year? I mean, if you're a Steelers fan looking at that right now with the running backs that you have, I call that a win.
I was just about to say that. Like, you would be happy with that performance.
But
yeah,
I like Aaron Rodgers as a person most of the time.
Right.
His ego gets a little up there, out there. But if he can come in and play good football, more power to him.
I'm not sure.
I don't think Tomlin's going to take shit from him. So
no. And if what I heard, all reports are suggesting Mike Tomlin was a big factor in him signing here. I think Rodgers wanted to play for Tomlin, so you got to give him credit there. It's a good call. Mike said Steelers Super Bowl chances before Rodgers plus 4,500 after signing Rodgers plus 4,500. So that doesn't change. I don't know exactly what plus 4,500. I'm not a betting man, so I don't know what that means in odds numbers, but.
Listen,
it didn't change. Yeah.
The same could be said for when Jaden Daniels started. Nobody thought Washington was going to do fuck all. They was like, oh, it'd be a good year to watch the kid play. And then all of a sudden, you know what I mean? They were off to the fucking races. Like,
yeah. I mean, like Mike said, it's like, I mean, can it hurt? I guess, but it's not going to hurt the Steelers any more than they were already maybe not going to make the Super Bowl. So,
I don't want to see any infighting. If he's only going to be there for a year, then teach the kid something.
Yeah. And I know he was kind of reluctant to do that. I know you're kind of reluctant to do that, like with the Packers. Brett Favre was reluctant to teach Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers was reluctant to teach Jordan Love because you don't want to, like Peyton didn't want to ever teach. Peyton Manning didn't want to teach some of his replacements either. So that's kind of the way the fear is. You know,
but why? Like if it's a team, and if you're leaving. You're not like, why not?
Well, I think a lot of times they don't intend to leave, or if they wanted to stay on.
Since he plans on retiring, like maybe it's one of those things.
But if you have a good year, maybe he comes back one more. I mean, he's 41 now, I think.
No, I don't think he does what Tom Brady did. I truly don't. These guys on the other side of that ball are bigger, stronger, and hit way fucking harder. And Tom Brady went up against some fucking monsters on the defense back then. You know what I mean? These are younger guys, way younger than you. Like, you got to start giving it up. You know what I mean? I think you got to know when to cut it off. And then still dealing with the injuries that he dealt with, I think it's time we go, you know what? One more year and that's it. I'm out of here.
Well, I think you got to consider this too. Last year, even though the numbers that we just showed were pretty decent for Aaron Rodgers last year, even depending on the circumstances. But you got to consider too, last year he was still coming off the Achilles tear. So now he's had a whole full year of being healthy. That could sometimes lead to even better numbers the second year back when it comes to a lot of these players.
I mean,
so
look, we can talk shit if we want, but if the Steelers have a good year because of him, all that conversation is dead. You could say what you want at that point.
You start talking about comeback player, with Aaron Rodgers, you know what I mean? So, I mean, time will tell, but I'm just saying, everybody, including us, we've all kind of joked around like, this may not be a great idea, but you look at the raw stats, depending on what the circumstances were. Yeah, it's not too bad. All things considered.
He's willing to help Howard, transition into that leading role to, NFL quarterback. And I'm not saying Howard is trash by any means. He was one of the best quarterbacks in college last year. There was quite a few, but he was one of them.
I'm more worried about him than Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
And I think that's
if just watching Aaron Rodgers will help too, live on the field, he'll learn from that too. So yeah, but with that, we know for a fact now that week 1, we will see Aaron Rodgers against his former team of the Jets, as well as, Justin Fields also playing his former team of the Steelers, who is now the starting quarterback of the Jets. So this is going to be interesting, week 1 at 1:00 on Sunday afternoon. I kind of wish this was the Monday Night Football game. I really do, because a part of me, I'll be watching the Colts, but at the same time, I'm going to be keeping an eye on this one because it's intriguing storyline wise.
I got to figure out a way to make sure we can watch this guy. I mean, I know we do the red line, but like that's
red zone, you mean? Yeah.
Red zone, yeah. I want to see this game on TV.
I mean, it might be the nationally televised game, but I know we here locally get Indianapolis, but I'm not sure how that's going to play out. But yeah, that's the thing.
It's still nationally televised too. Then it should be on one of the other channels.
You would think so, but I'm not totally sure. But Mike said Rogers looking for his second ring with the team. He beat for his first ring. Yeah, his first. Yeah, we mentioned that in our our private chat that Rogers' first and only ring is against the Steelers that he had when he was with the Packers, and now he'll be playing this with the Steelers to hopefully get his second. But we'll have to wait and see how that ends up going. And not only that, obviously we got, as I mentioned, going back and forth here between the two guys facing their former teams. We now know that Aaron Rodgers will also in Week 8 be playing against the Green Bay Packers. So that means he will be trying to become only the 5th quarterback in NFL history to be the only quarterbacks to defeat all 32 teams. Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Brett Favre, and Peyton Manning also went other places and went back to defeat their former teams. Aaron Rodgers could become the 5th man of all time to possibly do that. So we'll see. I don't know if that's on Sunday night or not, but Week 8 that week. I know it's crazy to think about. Only 4. Well, here's the weirder thing: only 4 have done it, and all of them have been within the last 25 years. I know we got to go a little farther back for Brett Favre, but and I forget that Drew Brees played for the Chargers.
I do too.
Small time. So. Yeah. But yeah, so if he does it, he'll enter that very small elite group of quarterbacks who's able to. And Peyton lost his first game back against the Colts. He had to come back and do it again later, or we had to go to Denver or something. But so yeah, that'll be interesting to see there as well. Not only that, well, I believe he's beat the Jets before. Aaron Rodgers has, but he'll get a chance to beat them again. So yeah, this will kind of end up being Aaron Rodgers going against all 32 teams here, finally coming back to Green Bay. I'm interested. I wonder if that game is in Green Bay, by the way. I mean, that would be even more intriguing. I'll have to look here. Great television, but Packers.
What do you think he get cheered or booed, or mixed reaction?
Probably.
Yeah, I think he's going to get booed in New York.
He'll get booed in New York, no doubt. But Green Bay might get a bit of a mix. Might be kind of like a Peyton Manning type thing. I don't remember how it was when Brett Favre come back. Of course, he was probably with the Vikings when it happened. That probably made it even worse. But yeah, let's see here. I'm trying to figure out what it says.
That's a wild graphic. I like that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, someone took the time for that. I don't know if it's in Green Bay or not. I was going to find out, but anyhow, so yeah, either way, it'll be an intriguing matchup Week 8 for sure, regardless where it's at. Now, when it comes to Indianapolis Colts, more bad news. Anthony Richardson is once again dealing with an aggravation in his AC joint, the same AC joint in his shoulder that he had to have surgery on in 2023 that cost him the season that year. Surgery is not needed as of this time, but he will miss some time. He'll be missing minicamp next week. And I saw one report that said he'd miss minicamp for the rest of the spring, meaning until July. But reports today are saying that he should be full go by the time training camp starts on July 24th. But this is valuable time for a guy looking to prove himself this offseason. So, yeah, this is what we'll be seeing Anthony Richardson be doing the next month and a half, possibly. So this sucks. Poor guy just cannot catch a break. And
I will say he's trying.
What?
I will say at least he's trying.
Yeah, and at least he doesn't need surgery, but it's just concerning when, again, it's that same joint. He kind of aggravated it a little bit last year, I thought, too, which cost him some games. And here it is again, kind of flaring up. So I don't know if this is going to be a persistent thing. So this concerns me a smidge. I'm not going to lie to you. But we do have Daniel Jones now. Yeah, as a Colts fan, this is disheartening. No doubt about it. So how do you feel about Daniel Jones possibly being the number one guy if this ends up lingering?
I hope not.
Yeah.
I really do. Like, Daniel Jones, although he has moments, I'll give him that. He has moments. He's not it. And I can't sit here and say that Anthony Richardson isn't it because I haven't seen enough of him. What I have seen of him, it's awesome.
Yeah, outside of the inaccuracy a bit, but that can be worked on. And to be fair, Steichen said when he announced his injury, he said his throwing motion and things have looked a lot better this offseason. So that's encouraging. But these injuries, he's been having them since high school. I don't know if he's ever going to be able to overcome it. He's starting to get the moniker of Mr. Glass a little bit.
Yeah.
And a few other quarterbacks have gotten that throughout the years, but this could be your starting quarterback. Daniel Indiana Jones.
What's the other kid's name that we picked up?
Riley Leonard from Notre Dame. So I know a lot of people, including Notre Dame fans, sometimes feel like he's a bit of maybe a backup in the NFL or a project at the best. But who knows? I mean, we'll see more of him in a preseason, I'm sure.
Riley, he wasn't going anywhere else. Okay, like nobody else wanted him. Okay, otherwise he got drafted way sooner. All right, he was going to be a backup to a backup no matter where the fuck he was going. Okay, if he was, like Will Howard, one of those, they went, it is what it is. Notre Dame, like when you put on the showing that you put on and get your ass whooped, it is what it is. Like,
Yeah. I mean, whoever the quarterback ends up being, they've got this great line of talent here to kind of work with. So
here's the thing with Richardson. Like, I want it to work, but the more I feel like I want that to happen, the less and less it feels like it's going to fucking happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I said before, my hesitation with the whole thing is like, because if we send him off somewhere else and all of a sudden he's not anything like he was here.
Right.
It's like, what the fuck were we doing then?
I saw one person even say that Anthony Richardson, after Aaron Rodgers' 1-year deal with the Steelers is up, is like the prime candidate to work in Pittsburgh. Like a change of scenery,
Yeah.
And if that were to happen, talk about, I mean, as a Colt, now I'd be happy for the Steelers, but at the same time, it's like, as an AFC opponent, knowing that if he ends up working out under that system there, that would be bad for us. I mean, because it feels like right now the Colts, with the talent they've added on the defensive side of the ball, and if they were to somehow pick up Trey Hendrickson from the Cincinnati Bengals via trade, because he's kind of not happy over there, and the talent or the front office doesn't want to pay him and whatnot. If they could get him there with the pass rush here, along with the offensive weapons we've drafted and the O-line we've got in place, it seems like the one missing piece of the cog is the quarterback position. And if you were able to fill it with some talent that's consistent, that could be the difference between playoffs and a Super Bowl and just staying home in January. So
yeah,
it sucks. It really does. And I hope that one of these guys, and who knows, maybe Daniel Jones will surprise us all and he'll help him too. But yeah, but it's just kind of disconcerting.
It just sucks because it's like after Luck, it was just, there was nothing. We had Gardner Minshew for a while, and he was doing his thing, but they never put full faith in the Gardner. So it was,
well, that Gardner wanted to be a starter, and they had Richardson, or they were going to draft Richardson or whatnot. So yeah, I get it. I mean, I don't begrudge Gardner for going to make his money, but yeah, it's just now that we've got the tight end, we got big time receivers. They can stay healthy. We got a big running back, got a decent backup running back right now. As long as the O-line's still decent and the defensive, especially when the secondary steps up, we're ready to ball. It's time to get the quarterback in right now. That's the shaky part.
Man, I will say this too about Pittsburgh's defense. They fucking
they may surprise some folks this year. If Rodgers can play well, the rest of that team has got some pieces, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So Steelers and Colts.
All right,
if they can figure it out,
be careful. Don't jinx them.
I know, right? That's maybe me being optimistic too, and watch. We'll just it'll be terrible. I hope not. Mike said in the chat before we move on to the politics stuff. I think he always tries BYW. But I think he means by the way. Miranda, it looks like me and at least the twins will be able to get together next Saturday. They're excited to meet Daddy's friends, even Eric and maybe Matt. I can't begrudge that. I mean, fair enough. It'd be good to see you guys. For sure.
Update from the conversation we were having the other day when my kids were wrestling. The TV that was already broke got broke some more.
Yeah.
Oh no. Somebody tried to break out of that.
Anaya's like, my fist hit it. Like, oh.
Who swung said fist? Yeah. Yeah.
It was Jackson's fault because he pushed her. But I'm not sure if that fist was meant for Jackson and it hit the TV because he.
No, it was obviously meant for Jackson. Anaya,
I'm sure.
If you listen, if you wrong her in a sense of where she think you've wronged her, there's no hesitation for retaliation. You know, she's not gonna wait a few seconds. It's immediate. So, and it's always escalated. Jackson
She body checked me twice today. They were both accidents, she claims, but I think she was just moving me the fuck out of her way.
She responds accordingly with no hesitation. So Jackson pushed her, so her natural reaction is, well, I'm gonna punch him. So, and he moved and she punched the TV. But that didn't end there. Like that fight would have continued.
Oh yeah.
They were just playing.
Yeah.
Gotta love that brotherly, sisterly rivalry or whatnot. It's inherent.
It's insanity.
Yeah.
And then when Jaden decides to join in for just a few minutes, because that's all it takes. But
yeah, he can take a couple of them hits, but after no, you would think that's what happens. He knows who to go after, and it's not Anaya. He grabs Jackson. Why? Jackson's lighter, smaller, and he can control him. He can't control Anaya. So he grabs Jackson and then immediately turns his back to Anaya and balls up because she is going to unload on him
By this time, though, the dogs have heard.
Yeah.
So now Ray's out there.
Loki's like, well, I'm involved.
Well, that just goes to show you as much as they pick on each other, they love each other too. They'll defend themselves, no matter, even though I'm sure they're just roughing around with Jaden too. But yeah, you got blood stick in the water. You know what they say?
Yeah. Although
so,
they all go at it, but like I said, Jaden is the big brother that watches from a distance, but is the first one there if something goes wrong. Like he'll keep his distance. He'll let his brother and sister be his brother and sister. But if something goes wrong, he's Mr. right there to defend in defense of either sibling. So I'll give him that. You know, he has stood up for his brother and sister quite a few times.
But it's got to be something major.
Yeah, it's got to be like.
Otherwise, figured out.
Yeah. If it's nothing like he knows they can't handle, it is what it is. Like if you can deal with it, deal with it.
Did it sound like Donkey Kong? If not, yeah. I hear you. All right, well, let's get into another rivalry that's been budding as of late. Let's get into news and politics. How about that? It's about to go down.
Make America great again.
Before we do that, Brandon, can we get the superpowers, like the handshake? I don't know if you can go the other way. Yeah.
There it is.
Other way. Yeah, well, it's not necessarily the mega powers no more, the MAGA powers, as it were. It kind of exploded this week, the MAGA powers, as it were, as if you remember WrestleMania 5. Yeah, a little bit of a rivalry, and it's something we did not necessarily expect to see, because we even said last week that there wasn't really any major rift between these two guys, because, I mean, you had Trump literally giving Elon Musk the key to the White House last week, the big golden key. But there's definitely disagreement now, but at least on the surface. We'll talk about maybe what Miranda thinks here in just a little bit too. But yeah, at least on the surface, this is what it appears at the moment. And in some respects, I kind of see it from both sides here. Elon Musk is obviously they're upset about. He's upset about the one big, beautiful bill that Donald Trump is trying to get passed here. And Elon Musk complains that there's too much pork in it, a lot of excess spending, in his opinion. And to be honest, the AI stuff that's in the bill, in my personal opinion, needs to be taken out before this whole thing is passed too, because I don't know all the details on it, but it seems like states won't have any control or something to that effect.
For like 10 years.
Yeah, that's troubling. No doubt about it. And I'm a little concerned about that. And that needs to go away. But Mike said he'll stick around for a bit for this Musk and Trump deal, as I call him Mump. I asked him the other day why they don't call him Trusk, but apparently Mump is what he chooses here. So, and he was curious about the MAGA powers exploding. So, as a wrestling fan, obviously he's a little interested in that. So, yeah, we'll talk about everything that's going on here. So, but in regards to the one big beautiful bill that Elon Musk is against right now, because in his mind it spends too much, which kind of negates all the work he's been doing with Doge and cutting costs, which in that regard, I see what Elon Musk is saying. But at the same time, let me go through this bill just a little bit here. Here are 50 big things that the bill does that is actually really good. Including no tax on tips for servers and bartenders and bellhops. No tax, or it makes the tax cuts for Trump's tax cuts permanent. Biden wanted them to expire. That would increase your taxes by what? 68% if Trump's cuts were to expire. So that's a good thing. Child tax credit is raised to $2,500 under this bill. Overtime pay will be tax-free as well. Hard work will act, and you'll actually get to keep more of your money. $1.6 trillion in spending cuts, the largest rollback of government bloat in U.S. history, which is cutting expenditures. So that right there, Elon Musk should be happy about, I think. It has work requirement for welfare. So if you're able-bodied, it makes you get off the couch and go to work. You're not just getting, free government assistance. So again, if you need government assistance, like Medicare, Medicaid, all this stuff, you'll still be able to get it. But if you're just being lazy, you should have to work like the rest of us. I don't see where the problem is there. Deporting 1 million illegal immigrants per year, no more catch and release was in the bill. It will finally finish the wall, another 700 miles of serious border protection. So that's very good. 10,000 new ICE agents to help with the law and order at the border. That's a big deal. Eliminates Medicaid for illegal aliens. So like I said, just because the Democrats like to say, oh, well, Medicaid is for all people or all citizens. If you're illegal, though, you're not a citizen. So you shouldn't be getting those benefits. So this makes sure that distinction is in place. The Trump savings account for kids it builds generational wealth from birth, and it could be a game changer for these children. Slashes IRS funding, so no more 87,000 new agents breathing down your neck. The Green New Deal will be defunded, so no more money for solar BS, as this puts it here. Energy production unleashed, back to drilling and fracking. So, more of our own energy here made in America. Tariffs on Chinese built ships protect American shipbuilders. Buy American, build American required on all infrastructure projects. Estate tax protections expanded. The family and farms and businesses will stay in the family. Also repeals DEI mandates. Merit matters again, not being based solely on your race, which is something that the Supreme Court ruled on about discrimination this week as well. Bans taxpayer-funded gender ideology in federal agencies. If you want to, have a sex change or whatnot, it should not be funded by the American government, especially in federal agencies. Military pay raise and benefits boost. It also has a national missile defense. The Golden Dome will be funded over this. Will kind of give us more protection over nuclear ballistic missiles from other countries. So that's a good thing. HSA accounts expanded. You use them for direct primary care. School choice tax credits. Parents, not unions, control education. I think that's a great thing, in my opinion. Feds will be barred from mandating pronoun usage. Medicaid block grants to states. Local control, not DC strings. Saves hundreds of billions of dollars. Revives apprenticeship programs. College not required to succeed. The cartel hates this. 1% of exports must ship under the U.S. flag. Mandates voter ID for federal elections. That's a big deal right there. So you can reduce cheating, no doubt. Ends ESG mandates and retirement accounts. Cracks down on big pharma middlemen. Bans drag shows for kids at federally funded venues. That shouldn't be happening anywhere. Fires the climate cult from federal boards. Veterans get priority housing access. Big deal for our veterans. Tax credit for buying American-made vehicles. So if you buy American, you get a little bit of tax credit help. Stop Chinese ownership of U.S. farmland. They shouldn't be owning any of our farmland, so that's common sense. Ban CRT from federal training programs, end taxpayer-funded abortions abroad, and defunds Planned Parenthood. Again, you want an abortion? Pay for it yourself. Why are taxpayers paying for it? Guts federal diversity czars, cuts the bloated bureaucracy, revives the Keystone Pipeline, which is a big deal there for our oil and gas, eliminates federal COVID emergency powers, enacts Social Security tax cuts for seniors. Another big, it doesn't totally get rid of the taxes on it, but that may get done in a separate bill later on. Defends religious liberty in the workplace, restores due process on college campuses, massively expands trade school funding, outlaws federal funding for gender transitions for minors. Again, why are we funding it in the government or the taxpayers? Creates nationwide Patriot Curriculum Grant Fund, halts funding to the UN's woke agenda of arms, tax breaks for adoption and large families. So that'll help people adopt more. Everybody, you say, you shouldn't be having abortions. Well, here you go. This will actually help people adopt some of those babies. So we're working on fixing that problem too. Increases penalties for fentanyl trafficking, life in prison for cartels. Yeah, if you're shipping drugs over here, things like that, you should probably spend life in prison. Restores cash bail in federal jurisdictions. No more revolving door criminals, so they can just get arrested and be released the next day. And this is just a taste of the stuff that is actually in the bill that is good. So I get what Elon Musk is upset about. I do, when it comes to maybe some excess spending. But even then, there were some spending cuts in there on top of that. So Elon Musk is only focused on the spending the bill does. While we all want to spend less, Trump sees it in reality. This current Congress that we are dealing with does not want to cut spending. So Trump has to work within the framework that he can. Elon Musk wants Doge spending cuts, and they can still be codified via rescission packages, which are starting to be sent to the House of Representatives this week. It's just not the case in this bill here. So this disagreement and potential lack of understanding on Elon Musk's part led to a huge breakdown between Trump and Elon. And for the most part, I think both guys are right in some aspects. But at the same time, Elon is mostly in the wrong here, in my opinion. We'll see how everybody else feels in just a second. He came off as a spoiled child to me who throws a temper tantrum when he does not get his way. Long story short, Elon's not made for politics, and he isn't looking at it from that perspective. Musk is. What are your thoughts? Did you like Elon, his side of the story here, or are you more of a Trump supporting on this side of things right now in regards to this bill? And we'll talk more about what they said here in just a minute.
Trump has said since the beginning that we need single subject spending bills.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've got this big, beautiful bill.
And this is mostly to set the budget for the most part, I think. So
yeah,
those things are still coming. But yeah.
Yeah. This is.
It just felt like Elon has got this mentality, especially I'm sure he does with his businesses. It don't work, take it out. That doesn't work just like that here in politics. And I think that's
no, but it could.
It could. It maybe should. I'm not disagreeing there. Again, that's why it's hard for me to say Elon's in the wrong here completely. And I agree with Trump in a lot of aspects too. I think Trump's just approaching it from a different way because he knows what he's dealing with some maybe. So
this was a big PR stunt.
Yeah, this shit
for them both.
Mm-hmm.
It's now I did see a story that Scott Basson, is that how you say it? I think it's Scott Basson and Elon got into a physical altercation.
I heard that may have been the black guy thing, possibly. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think kayfabe. Okay, Brandon and I got into a conversation about kayfabe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, let me go on a little bit further here. I will get into that. You want me to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll talk about the kayfabe part of it. But before we get into that, let's see what was actually said between these two guys. Well, it all started when Elon Musk, obviously last week we talked about how, his time with Doge was up after 130 some days and he was stepping away and we all thought, okay, well, that was it, for the most part, right? Well, then Elon Musk gets on his X account on his platform and says, I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it. Well, that then prompted Donald Trump to respond. Let's listen to what he has to say real quick.
But if they picked him, I would have won Pennsylvania. I won it by a lot. But I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem. And he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate because that's billions and billions of dollars. And it really is unfair. We want to have cars of all types. Electric, we want to have electric, but we want to have a gasoline, combustion. We want to have different. We want to have hybrids. We want to have we want to be able to sell everything. And when that was cut, and Congress wanted to cut it, he became a little bit different. And I can understand that. But he knew every aspect of this bill. He knew it better than almost anybody. And he never had a problem until right after he left. And if you saw the statements he made about me, which I'm sure you can get very easily, it's very fresh on tape, he said the most beautiful things.
So he's talking about the EV mandates and stuff. So we're going to talk about that too. Well, he responded to that whole, he was upset about the EV mandate stuff being taken out. And Elon Musk said this, false. This bill was never shown to me even once and was passed in the dead of night so fast that almost no one in Congress could even read it. And he is right about that. It was passed in the dead of night, even especially the AI stuff, as I mentioned earlier, was not really known by a lot of people, especially Marjorie Taylor Greene, for one, said she didn't even know that was in the bill. Otherwise, she'd have voted against it. So it did kind of get passed pretty quickly, which, again, this is why single bills with single subjects should be presented and not like this big, hundreds and thousands of pages worth of stuff where nobody has time to read the whole damn thing because you're going to pass stuff in there that no one knows what's in there until they actually go over with a fine tooth comb. So yeah, I see that aspect or that point of it. It needs to be better than that. But
okay,
then
just hold on 1 second.
Okay.
So apparently, Trump saying the EV mandate was getting canceled made people want to go out and buy Teslas.
Well, it was interesting this week because a lot of Democrats were like, do I support Trump again? Do I drive my Tesla again? They didn't quite know how to respond to this.
Yes. So this is why I say it was a PR stunt. So Tesla's stock was down.
Yeah, it went down pretty bad after this whole thing happened.
Yeah. So it was a way for them to get sales back up, to start this feud and talk about the bill being passed in the dead of the night, not able, it's getting people talking. And
it definitely did that. No doubt about it. We'll talk about more about potentially maybe what could have, if this was all maybe a bit of a plan. We'll talk about that in just a second. But Trump then responded, well, Elon was wearing thin, quote unquote. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody wanted. That he knew for months I was going to do. And he's even told him face to face. I've seen videos of him saying that. And he just went crazy, according to Donald Trump. Now, when he said that whole thing about the EV thing, everybody was like, well, Donald Trump's clearly lying because Elon Musk has been on record that he has no problem with you taking out the EV mandate or whatnot. But here's what Elon Musk tweeted about that. He said, keep the EV solar incentive cuts in the bill. Fine, whatever. Even though no oil and gas subsidies are touched, that's very unfair. But then he started talking about the pork in the bill, as we discussed. But this tweet here in particular makes me think that while Elon Musk may not have a big problem with getting rid of the EV solar incentives, he appears at least a little jaded that you're not doing anything against oil and gas, but only against EVs. So that tells me there's a little bit of truth to what Donald Trump was saying here, at least. Otherwise, he wouldn't have put this in there like that. So I don't necessarily think Trump was lying. It may not be like completely true, and maybe that's not completely what Elon Musk thinks, but I think there's a small part of him that Elon Musk does not like the fact that Tesla's going to take a hit with this. I honestly do. But it may not be the sole, reason why Elon Musk is against the bill too. Well, this then led to Elon Musk crashing out hard, which he then tweeted out that without me, Trump would have lost the election. Democrats would control the House. The Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate. Such ingratitude from Donald Trump, according to him. And of course, this led to Elon Musk then dropping the big bomb, which of course the election stuff, Trump didn't like, because Trump obviously takes great pride in the fact that he won the election. He's not going to want to believe that someone else won it for him. Now, did Elon Musk contribute? Absolutely. But I believe he would have won regardless of Trump or of Musk, no doubt. That's just my personal opinion. Now, this led to Musk dropping the big bomb. He said, Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald J. Trump. Now, Miranda, we were talking about this in our private. We know, we've talked about here on the channel too. We all know that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, but not in the way that Elon Musk is insinuating here. That's the difference. You want to talk about that a little bit?
I don't know. I don't see the insinuation of him being called a pedophile in that tweet or in that post.
Well, the real reason they have not been made public is kind of where I gather that.
Well, and that's possibly could be because Trump was an informant in the case. So if the files aren't made public, okay.
You could maybe say that he was involved in the case.
Cash went on Joe Rogan. I don't know if you got a chance. Okay. And he says that Epstein killed himself. Well, I don't believe that. And I don't think
a lot of
Cash
people
believes that. But if that is what the case file says at this very moment, because that's what the investigators said when they investigated it, then that's what Cash is going by. He says, if you have new information, bring it to me. Well, we've got Julian Assange still in Australia, or he might be the UK, I think. Maybe. I don't remember. Australia, I believe. he just came back up in the X feed recently asking for a meeting with, I believe, Trump. So I think he's got some information that may lead to an Epstein.
Yeah, we're going to get more into that too. But it's interesting that what he wrote this about the Epstein files of Trump being in them, and that's why they're not been made public. His own AI Grok on X actually fact-checked Elon. Evidence shows that Trump's name is in the Epstein file flight logs, which is what we know about. We know his name's on the flight logs. He did fly on Epstein's plane, but there's no indication of wrongdoing. The files were released by Trump's administration on February 27, 2025, contradicting claims that they were withheld to protect Trump. While speculation persists, no incriminating details about Trump have emerged from credible sources. The topic is controversial, and public narratives often differ from verified facts. So right now, there is no proof that Donald Trump was a pedophile or was on the island doing God knows what to children. That the Epstein, obviously, list, the client list, indicates here. And there's another one here talking about how Trump, between 93 and 97, took his plane to go between Palm Beach, Florida, and New York City, with one stop in D.C. None of these flights documented as going to the Virgin Islands. Trump has consistently denied visiting Epstein's island, and no documents or flight records released to the date contradicted this claim. And even Trump, after finding out about Epstein, threw him out of Mar-a-Lago years ago. And then, obviously, after finding out about this stuff, was also the only one, according to authorities, to help with Epstein, the investigation into him. So we need to keep that in mind here. So this accusation that Elon Musk threw out there, if it's everything it's appearing to be, is very unfounded. And of course, obviously, everybody knows about these pictures of Epstein and with Trump way back in the day. You know, they had parties and things together, but that does not mean that Donald Trump was doing anything with young children, like the Epstein client list, insinuates. And hopefully,
so real quick, it is her father, Maxwell's father, that is like the orchestrator.
Yeah, she's in jail.
She's in jail.
What else is? None of the other people who supposedly did anything with children are in jail. That's the big problem here. But yeah.
But so she's got her submarine license and shit.
Oh, really?
Because story has it, she was taking, they have between islands. There's the Disney island that the cruise goes to, and then it's all connected to Epstein Island.
Interesting. I had heard about that.
But yeah, they've traveled by a sub.
Oh, well, that's one way to be inconspicuous about it. But the reason why this is complete bullshit, by the way, by Elon Musk here, if it was true that he knew that Donald Trump was a pedophile, number one, why did you wait till now to release this information? Number two, how do you know? Number three, if it's true, why would you let your son be babysat by Donald Trump without you present? That makes no sense whatsoever. And we know for a fact that Elon loves his little son. He loves all of his children. I know he's had some issues with the one who transitioned and things like that, but I still think he loves that child as much as he, gets around and all that stuff in his personal life. I'm not judging, but from all accounts, he does love his children. So this just doesn't make any sense. So why would you let your child hang out with a pedophile that you believe is true? I think he was just mudslinging here for the most part. Now, as of today, people like Graham Allen, which is back on his podcast, by the way, which is great to see too. Glad to see Graham back on his Dear America podcast. Check that out. Elon Musk has deleted all of his insane tweets toward president, or at least some of them. He hasn't deleted all of them just yet, but he did delete the one about the Epstein files list. Also, we got people saying, Elon, what are you even saying? The Biden DOJ had the Epstein files for years. You really think they sat on a bombshell evidence tying Trump to a sex trafficking ring, but went with made-up Mar-a-Lago paperwork instead? So again, if the Department of Justice and Biden's DOJ, the Democrats, knew that he was on the Epstein files, you think the Democrats would have gone through all that rigmarole with the courts and tried to throw him in jail and have him assassinated? And you could have just got him away from the White House by releasing these files. It does not exist. I cannot believe a world where Donald Trump is on these Epstein files as a pedophile on the client list. Because if it was, they would have come out by now. There's no way I just don't see how. Because even if there's other Democrats on there, everybody's like, well, maybe they didn't delete them because other Democrats are on the lists and it would have implicated them too. You could have redacted those names and still released Trump's. So again, I don't believe that. And you got Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer even talking about how there's no way he's implicated with Donald Trump. So yeah, there seems to be no evidence that Trump was involved with this.
No, wait, did he say like he got that from Epstein's mouth? Like,
yeah, I can say out there.
Yeah, it was his lawyer.
His lawyer who talked to Epstein. So there just seems to be nothing. There's no there as it were. But Trump. But again, Elon. It just appears Elon didn't get his way, and he just started mudslinging. Also, a reporter apparently called Donald Trump early in the morning the other day, and Trump told Elon Musk that he is a man who has lost his mind. Trump did not, however, seem angry or even concerned about the feud. As for reports that there is going to be a Trump-Musk phone call scheduled for yesterday, Trump told me he is not particularly interested in talking to Musk, although he says Musk does want to talk to him, because Musk's even talked about on X about burying the hatchet now after deleting some of the stuff he said and kind of backtracking a little bit here. But Donald Trump obviously feels a little hurt by this. Who would want to talk to someone who claimed to be a friend, just shouted to the whole world that Trump wouldn't have won the election without him, called him a liar, and then accused him of being a pedophile? So I don't blame Trump for not wanting to talk to Elon Musk here. Elon Musk, in a lot of ways, stepped over the line, and Elon Musk owes Trump and the whole world an apology. And give Trump credit, he could have gone off way worse on Elon Musk here, as we've seen him do in the past. But Donald Trump is showing great control and restraint here, in my opinion. Again, assuming all this is as it appears, we'll talk about maybe what could be going on in just a second. But I mean, yeah, this is to me, it just looks worse from Elon Musk's side of things. You got any other thoughts on that? Besides where I'm going with it here
Not
in a second?
really.
It just made for an entertaining couple of hours on X. Like,
oh yeah,
it's all it was.
Yeah.
And then
he just kept going. Elon just kept going.
look,
Listen, I went through a breakup, not mine, but with somebody else. 6 months of that shit. And she said some shit. Like, they were mad,
And when people are mad, they say stuff they don't mean.
Yeah.
This just happens to be two very egotistical men, very rich, powerful men who just happen to do it very publicly and bitterly. That's what this was. I mean, and I'm sure as time goes by, both will regret shit they said. And it looks like Musk's already doing so. Trump really didn't say a whole lot out other than he went a little nuts. We need to get him out of the office because if he's kind of a wolf in sheep's clothing, we can't have him around here. And that's what it is.
And this might be a way to get Elon back into Elon's world,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it didn't have to be this messy. I mean, but yeah.
But it's entertaining.
It's definitely entertaining. We'll get into more
And
what
then-
we might.
it was entertaining.
I don't know if you've seen it tonight or not, but Elon at some point tweeted today, the most entertaining outcome is the most likely or whatever like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll get into a couple. I mean, I don't know what other thing I guess Trump had said something about, the best way to save money is to cut some of his budgets and stuff like that, or some stuff from his corporations. And I guess Elon's like, okay, we'll start decommissioning our Dragon spacecraft, which is the only spacecraft available to go get astronauts from the Russian space station or whatever, or the International Space Station. And then I guess somebody with less than 200 followers said, that's probably not a good idea, Elon. And Elon's like, okay, we won't do it now. So it just kind of felt like, that almost feels like it's fake. You know what I'm saying? So we'll get to the fake part of it in just a second. But Mike said, I told you mump because I believe most Dems would rather have the mumps than deal with these two. That may be the case. But he said, plus Trusk sounds too much like trust, and I don't trust any politician, period, regardless of party affiliation. And that's fair. That's up to you. And like I told you, I mostly don't trust more of one party than the other. There's a lot of people in the Republican Party I don't trust either. I trust more Trump and his side of things than anything else, but he's kind of the third party in my opinion. But,
Elon says he's going to start a third party, and I asked him if we could do dragons as the mascot.
Did he ever respond? Probably not.
No.
That'd be kind of cool if he did, though. I mean, work great with the podcast. We can maybe get I don't know, like we get some logos from Starlink. We'll look like the WWE. At some point here, we'll get I'll wear a Starlink or a Neuralink thing. I'm good with it. SpaceX.
I don't know about Neuralink.
Oh, I got you. Well, this, of course, led to a lot of people online, including Logan Paul from WWE and many other places, obviously, kind of touting Trump versus Musk for SummerSlam this upcoming August. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that the internet had to have some fun with here, no doubt about it. So, and of course, that kind of brings us to the next topic of this a little bit here, though. kind of like in pro wrestling. Was this true? Was it totally real or totally fake? A lot of people want to speculate that with pro wrestling over the years. Not so much these days. Most people realize it's scripted, not fake.
I'm gonna send you a tweet real quick.
Okay.
From I Donald Trumpo.
Oh, I've heard some interesting things about that account, which I do follow, but somebody told me it's actually Donald Trump. I don't know how true it was.
Yeah, Trump was asked if it was him one time, and he says, yeah. Like, it was really weird.
Spanish Trump.
That would be hilarious.
Where'd you send that to me on?
Facebook, the group.
Okay. Gotcha. We'll pull it up here real quick, see what it is here. Let's see.
And Liz.
Okay. The what is spoken?
I'm sorry.
Liz Crokin. Sorry. Gotcha.
Yeah.
She wrote the go signal activating the fake Elon Trump feud. White hat Elon will return. Elon the gray leaves us. Elon the white will come back at the turn of the tide. Nice Lord of the Rings reference.
Now remember when Elon wore two hats? Two MAGA hats?
Yes, he did.
So there's your sign.
Okay. Well, yeah, that kind of again leads to the criticism. Maybe this was not all that it appeared to be. A lot of people believe this, and a lot more people than I thought to be honest. And I'm not sure. I don't know if I personally buy this 4D chess that's going on right now, but I'm going to entertain the idea because why not? It's fun to do. We can talk about it, and maybe I can be convinced. I don't know, but let's just see what happens here. Yeah, so as of right now, we had all that go down, and that, of course, led everybody to believe that maybe this is part of a 4D chess game, and maybe they're just kind of in on this together. They were like sitting in a room at the same time, tweeting like, let's say you call me this, you call me that, and we'll just make it look like it's a big breakup here. Could they be playing the world into believing they're at odds with one another, and were they trying to lull the left into a false sense of security, possibly to get them to demand the thing that would actually hang themselves, which would be the Epstein client list, which apparently for whatever reason, we're having a hard time getting the actual released unredacted files for. And of course, and at least in some ways, if that theory is true, it appears to have worked, as some Democrats, at least online, are demanding that the Department of Justice release the Epstein files in hopes of finally getting Donald Trump on this pedophilia accusation. But if all the fires were completely released and unredacted, far more Democrats would probably go down in this case, though. Mm-hmm. So was this all a big, long game between two buddies here, MAGA bros, trying to actually get the demand so high that no matter who has got controls over there at the Department of Justice to actually release these damn things? And not only that, Elon Musk then says, I will apologize profusely as soon as there is full dump of the Epstein files. So there may be something to this. I mean, as much as I don't necessarily know.
They want to do the opposite of what Trump wants to do because, I mean, obviously. So if he doesn't want it to come out, then you automatically, because all you care about is slandering him, getting him out. Like, that's all you care about. So it's, what's the saying? Cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, and of course, maybe, he's not taking his phone call, or could it just be that Trump and Elon are going silent for a while? Again, playing the game. I don't know. Maybe that's part of the strategy. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it isn't. But at least on the surface, and most people are not going to think like this. Obviously, there's a lot of people are just gonna be like, oh, and I already saw people, especially on the left this week, making fun of it. Well, Elon and Trump's bromance, broke up faster and fell apart faster than a set of wheels flying off a Cybertruck. I saw stuff like that going around. So
you'll get that.
Of course,
you'll get that in the public view, but behind the scenes,
yeah, maybe there's more to it.
Phone calls are made, hands are shaking.
Exactly. So. Yeah, and that's going to lead us into the next thing about the Epstein file list with Kash Patel. So, but before we move on to that, just overall thoughts on this potentially being more than it seems. Anything else you want to add?
It was entertaining for what it was. Now let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, and it seems like it has died down a bit, so that's good. Finally,
yeah. Trump's at the UFC tonight.
Yeah, which is another thing. I thought Elon was supposed to be there. If they come out, and
you got listen.
Well, if they're doing that, I get it. But I had heard it before all this happened. I heard that if they show up together, maybe they buried the hatchet after the phone call, but the phone call never happened.
Here's the thing. if they're there, they won't be together. You have one on one side.
Well, you can't do it now.
Up front, and then the others on the other side. Or hell, Elon's up in a private box somewhere. Trump's down on the floor. You get what I'm saying? Like,
right. Well, again, assuming all this part of it is true, but when I heard that initially, I thought, okay, they'll have the phone call, they'll make amends, they'll come out and say it's all good. We buried the hatchet. Maybe they come out, they fist bump or something with Dana White. I don't know. I thought maybe something like that would happen, but
no,
was not the case.
I just watched Trump's entrance. He's not with him.
Okay, well, like I said, so take that for what you will. You can believe that maybe there's something deeper going on, or they just blew up and they had a falling out, which if that is the case, none of us really saw that happening, but at the same time, I guess it's not too unsurprising if that were the case. But hopefully, maybe, time heals all wounds. You know what they say. But at the end of the day, we all voted for. And there's the other thing. Democrats were like, well, we have an unelected oligarchy. Elon Musk is actually the president. Donald Trump's just bending to his will. Sure as shit, that look like that's happening now, because this big, beautiful bill doesn't do anything for Elon, apparently. So where's the Democrat narrative now? It's gone. It's washed down the toilet. So you can take that and shove it. But anyhow, so yeah, that's kind of what we saw there. So yeah, want to move on to the cash? Yeah, it was entertaining. And at one point, yeah.
I'm sending you something else. You don't have to play it yet.
Okay.
It's about the stuff going on in LA. Well, no, this is about the shit. We'll find out when you play.
Okay, well, if it's LA,
I think it's
LA. So yeah.
It might be about the parade. I think it's the parade.
Oh, okay. And I got that to end the show on too. So yeah. Okay, cool. But yeah, I mean, there was a point, at least, what was it, Wednesday or Thursday when this happened? I was even like, both of you just put the phones down. It was not a good look. Let's say that. There was a lot of people was just, which you knew was going to happen, but not good in that respect, but maybe there was more to it. I don't know. Leave that, think what you will. But when it comes to the Epstein file stuff, there was a little bit more news on that this week too, as while all this was going on, legitimately during the Elon Musk meltdown, or whatever you want to call it, on X, Kash Patel, the FBI director, just so happened to be doing an interview with Joe Rogan at the same time. And exactly at the same time, the Elon Epstein allegation tweet dropped. And here was the reaction from Rogan and Kash Patel.
This is going to come up because it's been going on since we've been recording here. Elon and Trump seem to be in a little bit of a spat. Joe, you want to check the tweet that Elon just put out a little bit ago?
Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day. Jesus Christ.
I'm not participating in any of that conversation.
What is he? Have a nice day, DJD. Someone should take his phone away.
They're going back and forth about different things.
Yeah. Listen, he said he's disappointed in Elon.
Yeah, they told him to leave.
Jesus Christ, that's a crazy thing to say. How does he know? Does he know that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files? Or does he have access to the Epstein files?
I don't know how he would, but I'm just staying out of the Trump Elon thing. That's way outside my lane.
What the fuck are they doing?
I know my lane, and that ain't it.
I just don't. I mean, I understand he owns Twitter. I think it's bad for your mental health. I think posting things public all day and arguing with people all day is bad for you.
I don't disagree with him there. I usually just use it to scroll and look through. I used to argue a lot more. I've stopped doing that. It's kind of hard for you, but it's just funny. The FBI director is sitting right there when this is all going down.
Nah.
And here's the thing. Okay, I'm gonna play these two things side by side here. Kash Patel went on to say this about the Epstein files, followed by the head of the Department of Justice, Pam Bondi, saying the exact opposite of one another. So listen to this.
Again, logical play out. If there was a video of some guy or gal committing felonies on an island and I'm in charge, don't you think you'd see it?
Tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And there are hundreds of victims. And no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going.
Again.
So someone's lying here. Both things cannot be true. Either there is video of this sort of stuff going on or there's not. One says there is, the other one says it's not happening. And Kash Patel and Dan Bongino have both said that he killed himself. A lot of people like me and many others don't necessarily believe that, But I trust Dan Bongino. I don't know enough about Kash Patel, but I had no reason to untrust him. But some of the stuff that's been going on with this Epstein thing makes me question both to some respect. Now, don't be wrong. I got my issues with Pam Bondi a little bit too. So could this be why the Elon Musk Trump thing happened to draw this out?
So Trump told us, like in the beginning, he was a wartime president. And I believe there's a plan that's going on, that 4D chess that you were talking about.
Right.
Devolution, auto pen, all that is pointing to the military type are in control. So that means we are at war. So anything goes.
I fully believe that.
If we are at war and they are, Kash is saving the mission by lying to us, then okay, cool. But we got it.
Yeah.
Soon.
Well, and I mentioned Graham Allen a little earlier. For those of you who don't know who he is, he used to be a military man, has a podcast. He went to work for the Pentagon for a while under the new Trump administration. And just like Elon Musk, after a certain amount of time, he stepped away from that special government role. He's now back on his Dear America podcast. And he was even saying that, working in the Pentagon, he realized that the corruption was rooted very deep. He didn't realize how deep. He said I don't know how many people actually work at the Pentagon, but the amount of people who actually work there, he said 99.97% of them are dirty and corrupt. And he said it's way worse than you can imagine. So if that's the case, that's probably a lot of the reason we're not getting a lot of answers. And like I told Miranda too, I don't know if I believe everything I'm hearing about certain things like 4D chess wise, but I pray she's right. Because that means there are people literally fighting this, and hopefully we'll root it all out. If it doesn't happen under Donald Trump and this corruption is rooted out, it's never going to get rooted out. And that's my biggest fear right now with this administration. I hope to God in the next 3.5 years, enough can be done to stave off this stuff coming back and getting even worse. And this bill, the one big beautiful bill, will hopefully be at least a start to that. And a lot of other things going on in the background. Hopefully will continue to be worked upon as well. But yeah, this is a whole big spider web of just corruption and stuff that, like Mike was talking about, it leads a lot of people just not to trust either party for good reason. So what I see,
that's why I think we do need a different party. Like we need to be able to tell the difference between who's who.
And that's why I always thought, like, to me, Donald Trump was the third party, the MAGA movement. Because they're not Democrats. They're definitely not Democrats. Yes, they're Republican, but there are so many Republicans, which we call rhinos, who are Republicans in name only, who don't align with the American people's interest. They only align with their own self-interest, much like all the Democrats do. But Trump and the MAGA movement and those who have defected from Democrats to come over to the MAGA movement, I believe a lot of them actually care. But there are even certain things like with Kash Patel, sometimes I'm a little shaky on with him even at the moment. But I'm hopeful that at least there's enough to root out some of this stuff. That's why I always looked at it. But Elon's not wrong. A third party would be probably a good thing. But I always looked at it just a little differently than he did. So I don't know. We'll have to see if I don't know if that'll ever happen, but it would take a lot of work to do so. But it's definitely something needs to change. The way it is set up currently, we can all agree. I think left, or at least voters and common sense people left and right can all agree this is not working as it is right now. One way or the other. So yeah. But speaking of Pam Bondi, the next thing on the item here, she announced that the Democrats are getting their wish, and the illegal immigrant known as the Maryland Man, aka Kilgmar Abrego Garcia, the man that Democrats went to bat for, saying he was a United States citizen who was illegally deported, is now officially back in the United States. But there's a catch that I'm sure Democrats will not like whatsoever. Here is the Department of Justice head, Pam Bondi, explaining what that catch is.
Conspiracy to commit alien smuggling in violation of Title 8 U.S.C. 1324. We want to thank President Bukele for agreeing to return Abrego Garcia to the United States. Our government presented El Salvador with an arrest warrant, and they agreed to return him to our country. We're grateful to President Bukele for agreeing to return him to our country to face these very serious charges. This is what American justice looks like. Upon completion of his sentence, we anticipate he will be returned to his home country of El Salvador. The grand jury found that over the past 9 years, Abrego Garcia has played a significant role in an alien smuggling ring. They found this was his full-time job, not a contractor. He was a smuggler of humans and children and women. He made over 100 trips, the grand jury found, smuggling people throughout our country. MS-13 members, violent gang terrorist organization members throughout our country. Thousands of illegal aliens were smuggled. This is especially disturbing because Abrego Garcia is also alleged with transporting minor children. The defendant traded the innocence of minor children for profit. There are even more disturbing facts that the grand jury uncovered. It is alleged this defendant is part of the same smuggling ring responsible for the death of more than 50 migrants in 2021 after the tractor trailer overturned in Mexico.
Oh,
this is
yeah, I
part
remember
of
that.
same ring. The defendant abused undocumented alien females, according to co-conspirators who were under his control while transporting them throughout our country. This defendant trafficked firearms and narcotics throughout our country on multiple occasions. They were using vehicles, SUVs, with added seats in the back, floors that had been ripped out, guns, narcotics, children, women, MS-13 members. That is what the grand jury found. A co-conspirator alleged that the defendant solicited nude photographs and videos of a minor. A co-conspirator also alleges the defendant played a role in the murder of a rival gang member's mother.
Jeez. So they stumbled upon a big fish here and they deported him and they didn't even know it from the sounds of things. Oops. Turns out we were right again, huh? But yeah, the Democrats said, "Oh, you know, he was a United States citizen." Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I saw that he might be the one who murdered Seth Rich.
Also. Oh, really? Which one was he again? I can't remember.
He worked for the DNC, I think. He had Julian Assange and all that. I can't remember exactly what Seth had. He had a laptop with information on it, though, that was...
Anything that could be exposed, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got you. Well, so it's just funny to me how, you know, Democrats were trying to say, oh, he was a legal U.S. citizen that was deported wrongfully, who he never did anything wrong. Well, those Democrats are now in full-on denial mode about ever coming out to defend this man, despite it literally only being a couple months ago that they did this. Here is January 6th committee member Jamie Raskin, Democrat, claiming he's never heard of a single Democrat defending Garcia, yet he himself did so back in April.
She especially focused on the idea that Democrats defended Kilmer Abrego Garcia, even though he, of course, is alleged to have committed these crimes. Do you think that Democrats risk politically playing into the president's hands by focusing on this case?
First of all, I don't know of a single Democrat who defended him. He was falsely arrested and removed from the country. So now they're making up all this stuff about MS-13. Or, you know, let's say he was responsible for the January 6th attack and he coordinated the assault on 140 police officers. They're making up things against a guy who's never been prosecuted, much less convicted of anything criminal.
Well, he's going to jail for a long old time now. And then when he's done serving his sentence here, he's going back to El Salvador. That's what's going to happen to him. So yeah, I mean, God, I hate being right.
Shit, open your fucking mouth. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say when I'm wrong when I was wrong. I was wrong last week about apparently there was nothing brewing with Elon and Trump. Apparently that may be the case, or may not. Time will tell. But in this case, we weren't wrong about this. Abrego Garcia is not a good guy, ladies and gentlemen, and he's going where he belongs. This week too, the United States Marine Court. The United States Supreme Court, my apologies, just ruled unanimously that reverse discrimination is in fact discrimination. In other words, discriminating against someone because they're white and heterosexual is illegal under the Civil Rights Act. I don't know why this has to be litigated, but I mean,
hey, can I sue?
You don't have any proof anymore.
Huh?
I said, yeah, if you got proof, you can. You should be able to.
Your lawyers might not be as good as their lawyers, but I don't know. That's the only thing.
I'm going to contact that lawyer.
Yeah.
All that means is a settlement out of court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Settlements are good. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. But it's like, how hard is it? Like, just because you're white heterosexual, you can't discriminate on them just because they don't meet the DEI requirement or the trans thing or LGBT. I know they're kind of put on a pedestal nowadays, but everybody wants to say there's no racism against white people nowadays. Oh yeah, there is, big time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but then there are people out there who believe that you can't be racist toward white people. Yeah, you can.
You can.
Racism is just
I've seen it happen.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, but yeah, I'm glad to see that the Supreme Court, even the liberal justices, agreed 9-0 that that's discrimination. I mean, you don't see that often in a lot of things.
Come to think of it, all of us were white. I need to go talk to all 6 of them.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to go off, you can. We can't say much, you know. But anyhow.
I know. That's why I'm not saying much. But damn it,
I hear you. I hear you. But well, it is. Well, I'll talk.
You know what? And Yusuf's crazy ass would probably be like, "Yeah, I'll go to court and back you up," saying, "They hired me."
Well, we'll talk after the show goes off up here. How about that? I got a few things I can add to that a little bit, but yeah, it's just interesting to me. But anywho, back on topic a little bit though. Apparently, the Summer of Love 2.0 is underway and appears to be upon us as massive anti-ICE raids have broken out in California, along with the protests to go along with it. LA chaos as Mayor Karen Bass, who let California burn recently, if you remember all the wildfires over there, has been unable or unwilling to maintain control of Los Angeles, as we've got all sorts of chaos unfolding as we speak today. And of course, this is the weekend. Now everybody's out in force. But as of this a few hours ago, President Donald Trump has officially taken control of the California National Guard and will be deploying thousands of troops to the streets of Los Angeles tonight. So good to see law and order finally, hopefully, to maintain some control over there in California. As
said he may activate the Marines over there too.
Good.
So these are federal law enforcement officers that are carrying this out.
Yeah, these are just some images coming out of California right now. Guys, it's federal ICE it's lawful what they're doing. I understand you may not like it, but they're here illegally, guys. And unfortunately, this is going to be framed as, Trump's Gestapo or some stupid crap like that. It's not the case. I mean, they're doing their jobs, and these people who have been brainwashed by left-wing media believe that they are, taking out good, wholesome, innocent people like they believe Abrego Garcia was. And we just showed you that that's not true. But that's what these people believe. And these are the people who are fighting and supposedly rising up and resisting against these federal officers. These federal officers under Donald Trump are not going to take this crap, as they shouldn't. This is not an evil thing that is happening. This is law and order being shown here. And unfortunately, it could get worse before it gets better, as Miranda put it in our private chat too. But this is some video of these federal agents, not taking this from protesters. They're putting a stop to it, as they should. But there have been injuries, no doubt about it, because these people, for one, tried to stop vehicles in the middle of the road. you do that, you're probably going to get run over. That is kind of the way it works. If you're standing in the street, you have a right to protest. You don't have a right to violence. You don't have a right to block streets. If you think otherwise, you're wrongly informed. So what you're seeing over the next few days or whatever this may be happening, whether it be in California and other states, you got to understand that these people are doing the jobs that they need to be doing to protect this country. And of course, then we got video of this. Yeah.
How many illegals in Indiana? This is 2021. And it's between 95,000 and 125,000.
That's just Indiana, and that's a smaller state. Imagine how many are in California. Everybody near the southern border,
Yeah. But if they're all leaving, are we going to see the National Guard having to come here because they're not leaving? We're not cooperating. Like, I know Bloomington said they're not going to cooperate.
Yeah, it's a liberal town. Yeah, absolutely. And of course, these pallets of cinder blocks conveniently placed near the riot zones. Again, who put those there? It's a good question. Can be broken up, thrown. We've already seen videos of some being thrown at these officers' cars. They've gone through windshields, things like that. I don't know if I have the video of that here, but this is the sort of thing that happened in 2020. People who are ill-informed out there just causing chaos. It's got to stop. And people are not going to like the way they stop it unless you just listen to reason. So, yeah, I guess I'll just leave it at that. You guys have any other thoughts on this?
This is stupid. This is how this is dumb.
Yeah, but these people believe they're in their right, though. They're taking away people who did nothing wrong. How dare they? They're fascists. That's what they really believe.
Then there's no hope in you.
And they're going to be those on that side who believe we're the ones who are enabling the fascists. That's what they're going to think.
And that's what I hope. Like, the people that are down there rioting and stuff, if they're American citizens, they need to be treated as domestic terrorists, arrested and put in jail.
Yeah, I mean, you got Congress people attacking ICE agents, things like that. This stuff cannot continue to stand like this. There has to be law and order, and that's what Donald Trump has said when he says we're going to bring law and order back to this country. We'll see what happens with these National Guard agents, and we'll see if Pete Hicks have to, do the Marines or whatever it is. We'll see if that ends up being a thing. But yeah, California, of course, a lot of this is because, again, Karen Bass, who I believe LAPD finally engaged some of these people, but it took hours for them to do so. They were told to stand down and let these people do because that's what California does. Go ahead and rob that convenience store. We'll just put up, glass over the products. We won't enforce the law. We'll put a Band-Aid over it. We'll see it. Well, look how well that's worked out for you. And now it's led to this point. So let's hope that this doesn't become a nationwide thing. I'm sure there's some going across the country at this point, not just California, but hopefully this doesn't get too out of hand because it can become very, very scary at that point. So like I said, that's why I got my AR-15. If you've got your guns and stuff, make sure you're locked up, you're loaded. Let's make sure you got some emergency supplies in case, God forbid, something escalates here for sure. But yeah, we got our own problems here, no doubt about it. So all right, so let's move on to the last tab here. And whoops, I dropped Miranda out for some dumb reason. All right, here we go. We'll bring her back, and we'll get to the last tab here, the last few stories before we end the show tonight. And Corinne Jean-Pierre.
Oh my God.
The self-professed historical figure, because she was the first triple threat, an African-American lesbian woman, to be a White House press secretary under Joe Biden. She forgot to mention highly unqualified DEI hire, as much as Biden's administration were. But this week, she left the Democrat Party and became an independent. And solely in order to sell her new book titled Independent, a look inside a broken White House outside the party lines, detailing the Biden cover-up despite being the one who lied on behalf of the administration every single day. So, of course, she helped lie about all of it, but it's time to make a buck off of it, you see? And that's what we do in the Democratic Party. No doubt, and I'm sure Republicans in some regards have done this too. They're no different in a lot of ways. But just like Jake Tapper, she was complicit in the lies the former administration spread about many things, but especially when it comes to Biden's cognitive decline and his health. Conspiracy theorists are right once again. Can't say we didn't try to tell you, but do not buy this book, guys. It only makes grifters like her continue to sell this nonsense. But yeah, we tried to tell you about Biden's cognitive decline and everything, and it's officially coming out now. But at the same time, she lied for very many, many years. How can you maybe even believe what she says in this book, to be quite honest with you? So, I mean, but you know, she was better than Miss Circleback, I guess, not by much. Hell, this one had to read from the binder all the time. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, Corinne Jean-Pierre, you know, Kayleigh McEnany, they're on their game.
He said Miss Circleback.
Not Corinne Jean-Pierre, Caroline Levitt, and Kayleigh McEnany. But yeah, sorry, yeah. So you know, whenever there's a buck to be made, I guess capitalize on it, right?
Yep.
Also, we got news this week that fentanyl seizures have mysteriously, quote unquote, dropped at the southern border. Gee, you know, it's kind of a mystery, a real mystery, perplexing, in fact, baffling, and even inexplicable. What could have possibly changed in the last few months to cause such a bewildering drop in fentanyl seizures along our southern border? Turns out you deport all the drug runners, it actually helps.
Who knew?
Cash also said on that podcast with Rogan that they are working with other countries, stopping it. I guess it's going through India, and India has like no fentanyl deaths because they don't use it. They just make it there and ship it through Canada. It's a big whole like worldwide drug thing, but they're actually working together and they're stopping it.
Nice. But you know, novel concept. I know, but you know, another stat is interesting. This is the thing that changed here that caused fentanyl seizures to go down, and that's Donald Trump. But also under Donald Trump, murder rates are also way down across the country, especially in large cities. Listen to these stats. Denver, Colorado, murders are down 63%. Baltimore, 31%. St. Louis, 34%. Cleveland, 36%. New Orleans, down 30%. New York, down 27%. And Chicago, down almost 24%. These big liberal cities, all down. Wonder why? Because you deport the murderers. It tends to help the murder rates. Shocking, I know. But are we that surprised? I mean,
not really.
But those numbers come out this week, so that's per the Daily Signal. So there you go. Yeah, I mean, promises made, promises kept. Donald Trump is making America great again, keeping it safer, as we've always said here. He may have his quirks and stuff, but he's doing what he said. Also, this last weekend, Ukraine used drones to destroy Russian bombers out in the open last weekend, violating rules of engagement of war. Ukraine did not inform its allies that they were going to strike, including the United States. Vladimir Putin vowed retaliation following this act. So much for them peace talks, which they're supposedly still trying to do. But first, Zelensky misses Putin in an assassination attempt, and now this. This violates the rules of engagement because, you know, when you have planes sitting out in the open like this, it's understood in the rules of engagement that those planes are not being used to bomb and, you know, drop nuclear weapons and things like that. That's why they're there out in the open. They're not concealed. But Ukraine didn't care about that. They just went and bombed them up anyway. And so that is definitely a huge violation. But apparently the bigger story about that, in my opinion, is following the attack. Apparently, New York Democrat Senator Jerry Nadler, his office was raided by ICE and Department of Homeland Security amid allegations that his office was aiding rioters. But the rioter story may only be the official story, as there are some reports out there that suggest there may be potentially other things the agents were after. Here you go.
Breaking. A raid just rocked Capitol Hill, and the target was Democrat Representative Jerry Nadler's office. Federal agents under President Trump's DHS stormed the powerful congressman's New York office in a high-level operation. But what they found wasn't paperwork. It was classified military drone tech, not civilian toys. We're talking encrypted military-grade systems, the same kind used in Ukraine's strike that destroyed 40-plus Russian warplanes. Why was it there? That's the question sparking full-blown panic on Capitol Hill. Trump himself reportedly approved the operation after learning about the tech's foreign origins and the growing suspicion of an illegal international network involving drone warfare and U.S. lawmakers. Nadler's staff were detained, hardware was seized, and internal documents hint at foreign funding, sabotage operations, and high-level political cover-ups reaching far beyond one office. Experts say this could violate national security protocols, intelligence sharing laws, and maybe even border on treason. If this is true, we're not talking about a leak. We're talking about a wartime technology breach inside Congress. What do you think? Is this a rogue incident or the tip of something far more dangerous? Is DC under foreign influence? Let's hear it.
I mean, it's very interesting that come out literally right after the Ukraine bombing of the Russian bombers. Drone technology with trigger switches were found and may have been the real reason for the raid. The same type of technology used against the Russians with Ukraine. So again, we've seen multiple United States senators like Lindsey Graham visiting Ukraine literally last week. I'm just saying, maybe perhaps it's time politicians have been cozying up to Ukraine. Maybe you need to check their offices. Just saying. And this may be the first of many to come. I don't know if I buy the rioter storyline. So what are your thoughts on this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that rioter storyline was a little convenient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that'd be more ICE, but you had Department of Homeland Security in here as well. So, you know, was it quack like a duck? Maybe it's a duck, that type of situation. I don't know.
Like, why would
we don't know if you know
goose.
what a duck is.
I know, yeah. Canadian goose, maybe. But anyway.
Why would a senator have those kind of drones? Like,
I don't know. Yeah, why? For what reason? What purpose? You remember a few months back when drones were just flying all over New Jersey and nobody could figure out why? What happened to that story?
Maybe he was testing it out.
It's not too far from New York. Just saying.
I want to know whose they are. Like
conspiracy theorists or not, there's something fishy there. You got to at least admit that. Okay, we're not crazy kooks. I mean, it just comes out right after. Oh well, they're just making up the story right after the Ukraine's bombed Russia.
Like you said, they are all dirty. They're all corrupt.
Gary Nadler's definitely dirty. If you ever, the dude's a crackpot, no doubt about it. But yeah,
looks like his diaper's always dirty too.
Yeah, well, fair enough. But we've also got apparently images of the equipment for the military parade that Donald Trump has planned for Saturday, June 14th, next weekend, for Flag Day and Trump's 79th birthday, on top of the Army's 250th anniversary. Apparently, the parade will feature rocket launchers, missiles, on top of military aircraft and vehicles, according to Axios. So, long lines.
That's a lot of vehicles for a parade.
That's a lot of tanks right there. Yeah, but that's apparently.
I don't think that's for the parade. That's for the rest of the fucking riots.
That could be true. That could be very well true. So yeah, but those are some of the videos going around there. So yeah, this is sort of things you are going to see. Now we'll see if there's that many at the parade, or maybe you're right. Maybe it is for the riots. I don't know if you need tanks, but maybe. But the thing you probably don't need yet. Yeah. Oh.
The Q drops say the parade is a disguise for something else. So we'll see.
Oh, well, you never know. But you got to move this equipment somehow. But apparently also the parade will also feature flyovers of F-22s as well as 7,000 military personnel. So I don't think the F-22s will be for the riots for sure. But yeah, so yeah, we'll get.
No, I really do think there's going to be a parade, but.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm sure if it's Trump, he'll definitely put on a spectacle because he obviously doesn't do anything half-assed. No doubt about it. Obviously, we got the golden toilets for crying out loud. So, but yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. And in my opinion, it could be legend. Wait for it, legendary. To quote How I Met Your Mother. So no doubt. But anyhow, we'll have to wait and see how that ends up going. But yeah, in my opinion, he's never going to stop fighting for America, despite the bromance and the pissing contest that might have happened this week. Still a Trump supporter. Sorry for all you people out there. Disappoint you. But
sorry to break your heart.
Sorry to break your heart. So that's what I got for tonight. What do you guys have to say about all
Hold
this?
on, you got one more video because
Oh yeah. You sent me some. I got you. Facebook, right? What is it? Yeah. Okay.
It's a close-up of the
takes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It says something on it.
TB, let's see what it says here. Got to open up a new thing. There we go.
Video, what you're seeing behind me right now is the tying down of the very first M1A2 System Enhancement Package version 3 Abrams main battle tank being tied down.
Cool. For
the U.S. Army's 250th birthday parade. There are going to be a total of 28 of these tanks going to the parade in D.C. on 14 June. We're also adding 28 M2A3 Bradley fighting vehicles, 28 M1126 Stryker infantry carriers, which are in front of me behind you, and then 6 M109 A7 Paladin 155 millimeter self-propelled howitzers. This is about 50% of the approximately 150 vehicles that are going to be in the Army birthday parade on 14 June.
Well, that video we saw, the train, that could very well be the actual ones that are going in there. That's quite a few of them. I don't know if it was 28 or whatever. What does it say there? Fauci, hang Fauci and Bill Gates. Wow, bro. Oh,
that's
wow.
at the 15-second mark of that video.
Do you know?
Nice.
We've seen those videos of other countries when they do these parade type situation. Right. It's just they know the world's going to see it. So a lot of this is a pissing contest of showing off your military
enhancement package.
I don't give a shit what anybody says. Nobody's rolling out shit like that other than us. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, not like that. No. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what this is a subtle way of saying, listen, you don't want this fucking problem. All right.
That's us, you know. I can't wait for the Iron Dome to be done, or the Golden Dome.
Yeah, the Golden Dome
here. But and I'm interested to see what Canada has to say about that too, because I hear they want part of it, so they don't have to pay for it. Maybe they come. I don't know if I want them to be our 51st state, just because that's a lot of liberals up in that area. I don't know, but I mean, other than that, but yeah, I mean, I'm just interested to see how that's going to go, because to me, I like to feel safer that way. I really do. I think it'd be great for the country. And I'm sure.
Yeah, I think we should build a wall. They've got polar bears up there. We just need to keep them up there.
Yeah. Well, how long before we end up building a wall on the northern border at some point too? Because you know, when the stuff coming over the southern border gets harder, they're just going to try to come through. The difference is they got to come through Canada and all that. Yeah,
they're already manufacturing fentanyl and stuff up there and getting in.
Yeah. And that's kind of what they're doing now, but it's a little harder for immigrants, maybe depending because of the location of Canada. You'd have to come a different. I don't know, but I'm sure it's happening in some respects on the northern border too. But yeah, so that's got to be sorted up as well, and I'm sure Trump will do the best he can, no doubt about it. So, you guys got anything else tonight, or we want to call it quits? We hit it 3 hours, right on the mark. Look at that. Gradually getting shorter. I'm trying to make it a little easier, you know, not so late for you guys. So. Now 2 weeks, when we got 2 weeks worth of stuff, we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna try to be judicious about it, so we won't talk everything. But it was kind of weird too. I was like, well, I didn't end up getting to go visit family like I intended. I was like, well, you know, apparently this big thing with. I said it last week too. You know what's going to happen? We're going to be off for 3 months or 3 weeks, and everything's just news is going to drop. And sure enough,
after you said that shit, it happened.
Like, damn it. I was like, I guess since we're home anyway, I might as well do a show. At least we got to talk about. So yeah, it was an interesting week, no doubt about it. A lot of stuff I wasn't happy with the R-Truth thing, and then the Elon Musk thing. I was like, then Aaron Rodgers. I'm going.
I saw the surprise that Mike was talking about. It's been spoiled.
Oh well, don't tell me.
Don't tell me.
Is it at least good?
I'm telling you, don't get on X.
All right,
I'll stay off X. I'll have to stay off of it until tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. But Mike said, my apologies. Guess I passed out. Going back to sleep. Hope to see you next attempt. Good night. God bless. See you in 2 weeks, Mike. 2 weeks. We will definitely not have a show because we'll all be
see
together.
You next weekend if you're here.
Exactly. Yeah. So if not, we'll see you 2 weeks. So good to
have
a
live
little surprise
streaming the parade.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's the thing. I got you. I was like, I'm not going live for it. I don't know about you, but I got you.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, definitely let us know if there's anything you want us to bring or whatever. We can talk a little off the show too. So, but thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. If you're finding us for the very first time, like I've always said, please hit the like, hit subscribe. Don't forget to follow us on Rumble as well as on YouTube. And of course, you can follow us on all of our X information there at the bottom of the screen there in the description box below. And until our next video, guys, which will be 2 weeks from tonight on June 21st around 9:30, we'll see you guys then. So take care. And as always, God bless.
Good night.
Later.